G'day and welcome to the Inforunners. I'm Execute. Today I'm joined by almost everyone. So this is our tier list show. Almost. Not everyone. This is going to be chaotic. See, Paul's already interrupting me, but that's fine. I'll start with
We like to interrupt you. You know that.
Yeah. All right. So we'll start with the official stuff. So don't forget to like, subscribe, ring the notification bell. If you want to get all our videos, make sure the notifications turn on. Whatever the other things are good. And Paul, you guys do the promotion stuff. What?
Like the video if you enjoy it, dislike it if you dislike it. Make sure you subscribe. We want to hear your own thoughts on our lists and our ideas down below in the comments.
Yeah, feel free to do your own list as well. I think that would be another cool thing to do.
Yes.
Patreon.
Yes.
Memberships, Twitches, all that type of shit. Yeah,
all of those things. They do help us.
They do help us a lot.
Most appreciated. Never acquired.
Never expected.
Always appreciated.
Yep. So
please get us more Patreon stuff so we can get Al and Execute to go to Al, Execute, and Loken and then the whole crew to get us to CitizenCon next year.
Oh
yeah.
We'll see.
Next year.
Yeah, I really
help us pay our way to CitizenCon.
Yeah, I really want to sleep on Badger's couch. Not about you, Agrid, but yeah, I'm really looking forward to that.
Well, hey, before we do this, I'll just say this. We'll if we manage to get it done, then we'll do an Inforunners like live video of all of us hanging out.
Actually, me and Agrid wanted to live stream the whole thing. We were going to go from go to woe if we could, but yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
Thing I have to say straight off the bat too, Space Tomato is not here. Obviously we've had some wires crossed at some point. It was due to be 11 p.m. for him, so he's probably fallen asleep or something. So unfortunately, he's
can I say something else as well, X, real quick?
Yeah, go for it.
Because people have been asking me a lot in some of my videos how he's doing. He is okay. His family is okay.
Yep.
But if you are up to the news, you know there was a series of devastating earthquakes that hit Turkey. So he's been a little distracted.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll probably stop by and maybe somewhere in the comments below or something like that he'll give us his tier list. He's obviously got some other priorities right now, and we don't blame him, to be honest with you. Yep. So we are doing it slightly differently this year. As you can see along the bottom, I've given everyone a color with a hex code along the bottom. And I've broken it up into 2 images. So we're going to get all the small vehicles out of the way first because they came very pixelated if you've seen our previous shows. So we're going to do this one first, and then we're going to cut it over to the bigger one. So I'll just flick over to that real quick so everyone at home can see what's going on. And then we're going to go do those, and we're going to zoom in. For those of you that haven't seen this before, this is literally us just giving our opinion, with number 1 being a really awesome ship and number 5 being the worst. And basically we're just going to go, it's almost like giving a 5-star rating, but in reverse, because I'm complicated like that. Is there anything else?
And then bagging each other out when we really think someone's off the deep end.
Sometimes.
So,
not so much. It's not about bagging. It's trying to see what people think of everything.
Basically, what on earth are you thinking? Give us your
if you haven't seen one of these before, it's going to be chaos. Before the end of this video, there will be a lot of talking over people. So just note that that's probably going to happen.
We were going to be fairly time restricted. I often get in trouble for pushing these shows along. But we've got about 2 hours to do this one because Space Tomato is not here. He was going to be the linchpin because he needed to go to bed, obviously. But because now he's not here, we've probably got a little bit more time. So we'll be starting at the bottom left on the what is it? That's the PTV, isn't it? PTV, yeah.
PTV.
Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna switch over to the browser. So zooming in on that and panning across. Now, apologies for the shadows because the shadows are obviously built for the ships. All right. PTV. Who wants to go first? I'm going to throw Loken under the bus. Loken, tell us about the PTV. And Loken's asleep.
I am here. Hello.
Tell us what you think of the PTV, man, and put a number.
Well, I'll give it a 5, and there's a reason for that. It's a 5, but it's a proviso because it is absolutely ancient and completely bloody useless at the moment in any way, shape, or form. However, it is one of those vehicles that is set to get upgraded. And looking at how they did the STV, I have high hopes for its future incarnation.
Yeah, I get that. Does anyone else want to make a comment on that, or should we just move promptly on? I've got to put my number on. I just realized.
Yeah, you should.
So I'm just going to.
I was going to say 3 because for some similar reason, it is absolute garbage. It is terrible, but it's about to get an upgrade.
Yeah.
And when it gets its upgrade, it'll probably end up being as useful as the Steve is, only just like a small version, which is great. That's a great little ship.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's, as always, none of these. As Badger said at the very beginning of this, almost none of these are worth your money.
yeah. Literally, yeah. So for people that aren't following, he just literally go, we could save half an hour and just wrote shit on the whole screen.
Shit on the whole screen.
I've given it a 1, which is the outlier, and I only gave it a 1 because it is.
Yeah.
It was the very first ship that was in game.
It is the very first flyable ship.
Yeah,
that's true.
It does have. It does have great lore.
We can't all hang on, Agrid. We can't all comment on every single vehicle, so be brief, because otherwise this is going to take forever. So,
but that one
is the first.
It is a useless ship. It is the first, but it's a useless ship, and you also can't use it as an upgrade. So
that's why I gave it a 3, because it's halfway between nostalgia and being crap. So that's why it's a 3. Anyway. All right, moving on. We got the Ranger series, so we can do all 3 of these at once. If you have a preference, just state what you want. Again, these are not out yet, so again, for me, they're a little bit harder to ascertain. So, yeah, it's kind of about where I sit on it too. A 2. Badges. Tell me about the bikes.
I would go middle of the road for utility and the way you incorporate them into the game, but there's just something exceptionally cool about the idea of landing on a planet, getting this out of a ship, and then just driving off into the sunset, riding off into the sunset.
Yeah,
that's why it's a 2.
Yeah, I think the cargo one's the ones where it's at. I don't know who else wants to talk. Paul, do you want to say anything about the bikes?
It's so Star Citizen is heavily steeped in cyberpunk. Like cyberpunk is in its veins as in terms of a genre. And what's more cyberpunk than a motorcycle?
I'm straight. Yeah.
It's Akira. And not only that, it's modeled after the Akira motorcycle. It's obviously modeled after the Akira motorcycle. So
especially since the middle racing one is red. Like that tells you everything you need to know, right?
Yes, exactly. So just like, how could you not like it? It's terrible for its value, but it doesn't stop me from wanting to see it in game.
All right, the Mule is one of our newest editions. So yeah, I find this one hard to rate. I don't know about the rest of you because its full functionality is not yet seen, and we're obviously going to get other cargo moving vehicles. So to me, it kind of lowers it down. I think I just have to play it safe and go 3. Anyone else?
Yeah, I think a 3 is. I think 3 is where it's at because it hasn't got its full functionality yet. You can't really truly rate it. So it's the 3 at the moment until it gets its tractor beams.
All right, Algrid, what about you?
I gave it a 2. I gave it a 2 because it's such a cool little vehicle to drive, and it's got the best turning circle of any vehicle that I've come across.
Yeah, Badges, what about you? Because you guys both gave it a 2. You gave it higher than the rest of us. So Badges, just real quick.
I like the fact that there's a lot of utility there for something that's so small. The fact that you can basically, if you really want to, wedge this thing into the back of a cutter.
Right.
You've got delivery stuff. You've got the ability to actually move cargo. It will take an SCU crate between the prongs at the front and, basically fit one up underneath it behind. Trying to say that without that sounding dirty. I think we got away with it.
No, you didn't. I was sitting there going, yep, I knew I was going to say that.
Demonetized, woohoo!
Yep, that's it. Take it at the rear. No, that doesn't work. Up the backside. No, that doesn't work. No, yep, good.
All right,
but the fact that it is so small is the reason why it's and there are bigger ships coming is why it's a 2, not a 1.
All right, STV. So we're going down to the bottom of the next column, guys. STV. I'll talk about this one just real quick. I was kind of surprised by how good this is in game. It is really good for the bunker missions currently. I do think it's going to be completely superseded though by the UTV when that comes out. And if I like this one this much, I reckon I'm going to like the UTV so much more. So for me, it's probably, I'm going to say a 3 because I think it is going to drop off. But yeah, anyone else like? Well, Badges and Algrid really hate it. Okay, so Badges, tell me why you hate it.
It's just the look of it. It just looks like. No, I can't even. It just disgusts me.
Is it a Dune buggy look or?
It just looks like something you'd seen parked down Miami Beach.
Right.
It doesn't actually. To me, it doesn't look like something from the universe from the time period.
Yeah, I will definitely back that up. That it does look like a Barbie playset.
True.
All right, Loken, you're on the other end, so you went higher than everyone else. So,
I gave it that score. Although I can absolutely agree with the aesthetics and also agree with the idea it's going to get superseded. At the moment, it represents the most technologically advanced of our vehicles, and it has the most functionality built in, and it can show and does demonstrate CIG's continued learning in terms of making these far, far better vehicles.
Yeah,
I like the way it handles too.
Yeah, I'll give you that. I definitely think it does show an advancement, and you hope they will go back and do the same thing to all the other vehicles. And I think that is what will happen with gold passes, etc. All right, the vehicle everyone loves to hate. I'm just going to go straight in and go 5 because I hate this thing. It doesn't fly well. It's never flied well. It was introduced terribly. Anything else I can say that's bad about it? It combusts and almost kills you every time you get in it. It's a death trap. Anything else? Anything else? Anyone wants to check in? Because like it is really bad.
I can throw in my own reason why I hate it, which is because it was made before the X1, and as much as I don't care for the X1, that's one of those things. It's like, why was this made over the X1?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
It's a hover bike.
And every little bike has their own thing, and the only thing that this really got was storage. And quite honestly, I still think it highlights why the Dragonfly is the best of all the vehicles, but we'll get to that when we get to the Dragonfly. Anyone else want to talk there about that, or we should just move on promptly to the... Yep. All right.
Move on, I think, yeah.
Now, I don't think I put the... No, I did. So this is the Rock. I did put the Rock DS in. That's later.
Yep.
Yeah.
I like it.
I think I'll go in the middle. Sorry, Paul. I could see I cut you off there. My bad. All right.
My man Paul, not a fan.
Yeah, Paul, tell us what's wrong with the Rock. I would have. That's the score I'm going to give the DS. But what's wrong with it, Paul?
It serves no purpose. Its purpose is shoehorned into the verse. Like they made rocks for it, rather than building the idea of mining around it. They just like, hey, let's invent in a whole new type of mining so we can sell a ship.
Yeah.
It is it is, and the problem is that it's super easy to just end up not becoming a good ship. Like it could easily be nerfed out of existence because it's the only one of its kind.
I'll play devil's advocate then, Paul. Do you think down the line when more caves and stuff come on, it'll bear more fruit then, where it's a vehicle only environment?
Maybe, or maybe if they had a bigger mining gun, like not just a hand miner, but something like that's a little bit bigger. That's effectively like a handheld version of the Rock.
Yeah, I think
because then the Rock would make a little bit more sense because then it has cargo that you can carry more.
Yeah, so bigger rocks that a hand tool can't work. Yeah, that makes more sense to me. Yeah, I think that will be a thing too, much like the Mule to the Prospector, because we don't have bigger rocks really for the Mule. They're just Prospector ones with the numbers turned up. So yeah. All right. Well, the opposite of you then is Badgers. So Badgers, where do you stand there, mate?
Yeah, I think, if you're going to showcase the idea that you take off from a station, you land on a planet, you get out, you drive your vehicle around, and there's actually some utility to that, the Rock is the go-to vehicle. Because if you're going off and exploring in an Ursa, or you're going to drive your Steve around, it's like, well, just stay in your ship. Whereas this has got the ability to go, like you say, inside caves and stuff. So I think for that showcase at the moment, that's why it's a 1.
Yeah. Alrighty. The Nox. What does everyone think of the Nox? I think this with the new city stuff that we saw last week, probably will be the city vehicle, won't it? When that all comes around.
Props for style.
Yeah, I'm going to go 3 again because like a lot of these for me, I think it's down the road. But Algrid, you go to 4. Why so bad?
Probably because I'm not really a bike person.
Okay. I don't know. Every time I look at Agrid, I can just see in a leather jacket, the bald head and the whipping out a chain and old man Hurston just taking people out.
Born to be wild, right?
Yeah.
It's also that old man Hurston doesn't trust the Xi'an, so it's a Xi'an ship.
Absolutely,
so.
It's a Xi'an.
Yeah.
Like actually, just because of that.
Yeah. All right. 5.
There you go. It's Xi'an.
So Loken, why is it the middle of the road for you, mate?
I think it's because I absolutely love the aesthetics of this thing. Of all the jet bikes that currently exist, I think it's the best looking. I've just never had a particularly good experience with it, but that's mainly not the bike's fault. It's just the tech behind the bike's fault at the moment. So it'll get better, but right now I'm like, you know.
Yeah, yeah. No, I 100% agree on that one. That's kind of where my thoughts are too. All right, X1. Next one up. We found out yesterday that this thing's in production. So kind of looking forward to it. I think I said to Algrid a few times, I really wish this thing has like some kind of cab so it works on atmospheric planets. That would really set it apart. But again, I think for me, I'm just gonna have to give it a 3 because it's not out yet, and I don't really see the advantages of it. To me, it's a little bit like the last one we looked at, the Nox, where it's just kind of what Loken said, but the same thing. Paul, you gave it a 5. Why is such a harsh rating?
Because it's just a Nox, but a human made. Is like there's no difference between them. So it's just, to me, just like this is just superfluous. This is just they could have just made more skins for the Nox.
So you hate Origin. All right, cool, check. All right, moving on. All right, we've got the other X's here, so we'll just kind of skip those because
I probably should have rated the Noxus a little bit higher, because it's Origin, which means Old Man Hurston would love it. But
I will also say you did miss the Dragonfly.
Oh shit, did I? Oh shit, there's no Dragonfly. Oh crap, I forgot to have it. Right, all right. Well, we'll do the Dragonfly down the bottom left near the Starfleet viewer thing. This is the Dragonfly, so I'm going to give it a 2 because I think that's kind of where it's at for me. As I said before, it's got a little bit of everything. So you've got storage, you can carry a person, and you can shoot off it, and it's got guns. It's more 4x4 based. I think it is the all-rounder of the vehicles, personally. But that's my take. Anyone else think it's shit? Okay, Algrid, why do you think it's a 3?
Great. Other than that, it's great. It's 2 people, you can fly it in space, and it's basically a snub and a bike, so it is actually really good, but it's Drake. And I'm not really a Drake fanboy, and that's the only reason.
Badges?
Yes.
Sorry, no, Paul. Paul gave it a 1. Sorry, Paul.
Yeah.
Same reasons
it's
as
Drake.
me? Or? Yeah, it's Drake.
It's Drake.
You guys are so manufacturer biased, the pair of you.
All of those things are true, and it's Drake. The thing is that it's so good at what it does that it's what the hover quad wishes it was.
Yeah,
is the answer. It's two. It's got 2 people. You can still carry cargo on it.
Yeah.
It's got guns. It's got firepower. You can shoot off the back eventually. Like it can fit in pretty much in literally every single ship. You can fit a Dragonfly in every single ship with a cargo bay. So
no, same reasons as me, basically. Yeah.
And it is actually really good. It was also the first of the bikes.
Yeah.
The very first one they made, and it trumps them really in terms of usability and utility.
They made it perfect. They made it perfect the first time, and they're trying to improve on perfection. It just doesn't work.
Yeah, that's it.
So it is actually really good as Drake. So it gets downvoted by me.
All right, I've been watching Badgers go crazy over the Cyclones. So there are 6 Cyclones here. So feel free to put your numbers wherever you wish, but I do think they are all a little different. Like, for example, for me, just to give an example, the TR has been completely squashed by the MR, so I don't know. I don't know. Does anyone want to speak about the vehicles? Because I think they're probably the most detailed out of the vehicles at this point. I don't think we've got any others that go to 6 variants. So
I can just say there's always there is a Cyclone. If you like to do something, there's a Cyclone for it.
Yeah.
So, but there are a bunch of useless Cyclones, like the Explorer Cyclone, which has no purpose yet. And as you said, like the TR, which is completely superfluous.
Yeah, but I do think the Recon one will probably be one of the best ones when all said is done, because you'll use it for scouting and stuff like that. Ones, and as I said, some ones have been superseded. Like, so the AA one and the turret one are basically almost useless now because there's one that does both of them. Again, the more generalized you get with anything, they tend to rise to the top because they're more like the Dragonfly, because it just does everything. even though it doesn't do it as well as the Pacific one, it's just because it's more versatile. You don't have to take 2 vehicles. You can just take the one and make it fit. So yeah. Anyone else want to speak to those?
My problem with a lot of the vehicles and with the bikes is that they're open cab.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people like the open cab stuff, but for your vehicles, having that closed cab means on places where there's low atmosphere or you've actually got, you extend your time you can be out. Whereas if you're on a bike, you're still limited to whatever air you've got in your suit.
Yeah.
So that's probably my big reason. But every other reason you said, is true.
Yeah, I'm just going to give these 2 5 because they're pretty much dead. Right. Moving on to everyone's least favorite vehicle. I think I'll be very surprised if anyone gives this a good score, right? So not trying to shitbag anyone. If you give it a good score, give it a good score. But I think we can all universally agree this thing was made for Squadron 42, and it just while the complaints anyone had about the Rock, I think they're even more so for this. But who hasn't put a score down? Badgers, what's your score, buddy?
Yeah, I'm just weighing up the pros and cons of giving it a really good score.
Well, how many slaps? How many slaps do you want? Yeah, no. So why that score? You just went in the middle of the road to play it safe, or?
No, I mainly did that to voice my objection at being lumped in with the "this is made for Squadron 42" crowd. Yeah, no, I think anything you do in the game is better with a friend.
Yeah,
so
true.
And that's why I give the Rock or the DS that. I think. Yes, it's a bit weird. I think if they give it better functionality, it can take a better laser. It's got more space. They're going to be nodes that are higher that you can't reach for the Rock. Then I get it. But other than that, I understand it's a bit weird.
Badger's going to live to regret that comment. Let us know in the comments below all the things that you should do with a friend that are not good, because I think Badger needs to hear it. Anyway,
rude. Right. you are hanging out with entirely the wrong sort of friends, my friend.
Right. G12. I think Algrid can speak on this because it kind of point to what he was talking about with the open cab.
I will give it a 4, not a 5. And I'm giving that to all of them.
Yep.
A 4, not a 5. And the main reason that's getting a 4, not a 5 is because it's got the closed cab, which makes it great. But it's got the 4 because it is so much wider than an Ursa. So whereas it's mid-road between the small vehicles and the Ursa, it's actually almost the same size as an Ursa and wider than an Ursa. So you actually can't get that thing into a Connie.
I think
one thing I'd have expected.
Yeah,
and it's also its origin, which means
I think
over-engineered.
Yeah, I think the actual default G12 is the only good one in my personal opinion. It has a bespoke use, as Algrid said before. It's got a closed cab, so it's going to be essential for those planets. But by the same token, you can take the Ursa, as Algrid said as well. So I'll judge it more when it comes in game. Badges, you've just shat on all of them. So is it just because it's just too expensive?
I hate it. The idea of Origin and making even a military variant of this is like taking a really, really nice Bugatti and then just taking a circular saw, cutting a hole in the roof, and trying to lamp a 50 cal on the top. It's not respective to the Bugatti, and it's not respecting the military either. So it's just no. So it's like no.
Like a Rolls Royce tank or something. Yeah.
You make luxury stuff, stick with the luxury.
Well, your countryman kind of disagrees. So, Loken, why you gave them all a 2? So
I gave them all a 2 because I'm actually quite looking forward to them for a couple of reasons. So first, they are actually closed cab, which is nice. Second of all, although Algrid makes a very good point about the size of them, which is definitely marks off, and I'm a bit iffy on the design language. I have no idea how big they'll actually end up being because they're still not being developed yet.
So just real quick, they're roughly a medium-sized vehicle like the Ursa. So fair enough. Yeah, 3 sizes. So you get small, medium, and large. Anyway.
By the way, Execute, you also didn't add the Ursa to this list.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Yeah, okay. I didn't. I did this like a week. Like you try and do this all off. I was trying to go through this massive list and pull out every single ship. So I am probably going to miss a couple. But we can just do that. We can do that down the bottom.
We always miss.
We'll do that next, and we'll do it down the bottom right. So yeah.
But, I like the idea of Origin making a sort of a luxury exploration vehicle, and You know, the armored one seems like an armored car for all intents and purposes. So, you know, like a BMW with armor plating on it. And the racing one, well, I kind of want to run one of those in Daymar. So there we go.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a reason for my score at least.
Just checking.
I did give the racing one a 1 because it is racing, and I did complain about the wide wheelbase, but that also gives it stability. So
Yeah, truth. That's
Yeah.
a very good point.
Yeah, it really like I'm just not into racing, so that's why I gave it a lower score.
Yep.
But yeah, okay. So the Ursa, I did check on the other image. It's not on the other image either. So the Ursa, to me, is a 1. I actually think it is bottom right hand corner, guys. I think it's the best all-round vehicle in the game. It's a good mix of everything. It's got offense, defense, carries 6 people, carries cargo. It was the first. It's kind of like the Dragonfly, but for the medium vehicles. It just did a little bit of everything. There's always
Everyone agrees.
There's always
That's
one.
what-
Yeah.
he's doing the 5. He's doing the X like
he's doing. Yeah.
he's doing the Roman counts. That's what he's doing. The Roman marks.
There's always one that
Or
can't.
the
Yeah.
hash marks.
There's always one. Yeah. All right. Paul. So is anyone that wants to talk about the Ursa real quick? Anyone at all? I don't mind. If you...
It is a fantastic for what it is. I think there's only one small knock on it, which I still think it's good, is that there needs to be a military version of it, an upscaled, armored, bigger weapons, more crew capacity.
Yeah,
but it's perfect.
Spartan.
I do think we're going to get variants as well, especially what was hinted at with the Galaxy, like the medical variant and stuff like that, or a medical Lynx, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. One of the two.
It could. It's just, in my opinion, it's like, it's cooler than the Spartan. It looks. Of course, it's the Mako. It is the closest thing we're going to get to the Mako in Star Citizen, and there's nostalgia points for that one.
Fair play.
I think the only thing I could say that I'm surprised is there's just not enough skins for it. There's literally an emerald skin, and that's it. As vehicles go, I think it's really been left to out in the cold. Right. Apparently, we're already doing the cargo MPUV or MPUVC or whatever it's called.
The King.
The King.
The King.
I struggle.
Loken.
I struggle here. I think I'm going to have to go with 2. And the only reason I'm going to talk about it is I think it is a very good ship for what it is. But the reason it loses a point with me is it just doesn't have the jump drive. And for me, that just makes it... I would love to be able to zip off and grab something and come back. And you just can't do that with this. So, yeah.
So you mean a quantum drive rather than a jump drive?
Quantum drive, jump drive, you know what I'm talking about. Loken,
so
why did you risk getting your balls cut off? Because that's what Paul's going to do to you.
That's fine. Paul can cut my balls off if he wants. I respect what it is, which is, you know, this snub-nosed style little cargo ship. And I understand it was the darling of pluckiness and all the rest of that business. But truly, the ship itself doesn't carry very much cargo. It's very difficult to fly and love because it's not got a particularly good flight characteristic. And the Pisces exists.
True.
MPUV.
Yeah.
That's all I'll say.
Yeah, I think the other thing though you do have to take into account there, Loken, is its price. For what it does for its price, it is exceptionally good. It's got a shit ton of utility for its price.
Well, let me put it to this way: I do own 3 of them. So
there you go.
Here's the thing about it. I understand Loken's perspective because that's the majority, the normal person's perspective on it, which is right now it has no value because it really doesn't do anything for you. The reason why I put it as a 1 is because when CIG gets modularity down, this thing's going to become a Swiss Army knife.
And my score absolutely can change and will change.
I've never.
A lot of these are pending changes.
I've never heard someone so elegantly insult someone by calling them normal. But okay, yeah, good.
I know I'm crazy. I'm insane. But I love
it was like Loken, you're so fucking normal. Like I was like, whoa.
Oh, such a normie.
All right, M50.
Called you.
Sorry, Hagrid? You broke up there a bit.
He called him a muggle. He called him a muggle.
Yeah, essentially. Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
Rude.
I do think this ship, believe it or not, like I really looked into this ship a long time ago. I think this is going to be one of the A to B ships in the game. The other one that'll probably be up there is the Herald, obviously, because they're in a straight line. So there is a need for racing ships. I'm not sure where it is yet. You know, we obviously talk about wormhole navigation and stuff like that. Could we see a Domino's pizza delivery version of the M50? Who knows? You know, like
listen.
Sorry, go on, Paul.
I was going to say the thing about the M50 is that with the way that they're changing speed and the navigation, the M50 is going to become a tackle ship because it's so fast in a straight line. It should be able to catch up to something and knock out with like distortion weapons or something like that. It should easily be able to knock out a ship's engines so that you don't have to, like, so they can't run away.
Yeah. That might become a real common tactic you're mentioning there with the distortion weapons, because they can't get a lot of hits in. You know, they're kind of that you know, in and out type of thing. That might be a thing. Who knows?
Would people's views on it change if you were more racing? If your gameplay was more based around racing, would that affect your score, or we? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I don't think there's any of us here that are particularly big racers, though. Like, is anyone that would say that they're a pretty big racer?
I'm certainly interested in the racing side of things. The M50 is one of the premier racing ships in the game. Like, absolutely, it's agile and beautiful looking as well. So I'm sure if the racing side of the gameplay is expanded on, as they seem to want to do, then it'll probably come into its own.
It has aged pretty well, actually, considering how old it is. It's aged fairly well. All right, run to the Razor. Yeah, for me, it's the stealth variant, to be honest. Here is the best one. I think it's going to be used for like scouting. Like, you'll go in and you get a scan of the area and get out. The white one pretty much makes the blue one useless. So I don't understand why it's a thing, because it's like, do you want a racer or do you want a better racer? So it's like, I find it weird, but I don't know. You guys tell me what you think.
I personally dislike these ships, not because of their looks. I think they look fantastic, but it's their flight characteristics. They have a nasty tendency of unrecoverably stalling for some reason, and every time I've flown one, it's got into a death dive, and I have no idea why it does it. I think it's an error with the game and the way it's being done at the moment, but yeah, it's colored my opinion.
I think we've just cornered your name there, Loken, for your black one. Call it Death Dive. I think that's a good name.
Death Dive.
Yeah.
Nice.
Anyone else want to speak to that? Badges, you've just given them all 4, so you obviously hate them.
Yeah, I think, you know, we'll see a little bit more of them as the functionality's added. But I just think if you're going to look at something like that, then there are potentially better options dotted around. I'm not sure how much of a utility they have for the stealth one.
All right, 85X. When the M50 is a thing, I don't kind of understand why this exists. I would have just made an M50 variant, personally. But you guys tell me. Anyone want to speak on the 85X? Algrid, we haven't heard from you for a bit.
Basically, it is a variant of the M50, really. It was designed by Origin at the same time as the M50.
How dare you use law against me, old man Hurston?
I was about to back him up for the same reason.
Yeah. Okay.
Origin was designing the ships in competition. It was an in-house competition. The M51 is a racer, but they liked the 85X and they went, oh, we'll put it in with our capital ship because it's a nice little tourist ship. But I could see, if you were looking at rallied racing, where you have, your driver and your co-pilot, that's what the 85X kind of fits in as.
Do you want to give me a score, Algrid? Because you didn't give me a score. But does it have cargo? Like, is that a thing they're going to add to it?
No.
Yeah. See, if they'd made it so it had cargo, I would actually it would flip my scores with the M50 because it would become the A to B variant, right?
I will say it may have personal cargo. That's about it.
Yeah.
That's what they have said in the past. You'd be able to take, briefcasey type stuff, but it doesn't have a cargo unit. So,
right. Medical Pisces and Pisces. I think we can kind of put these together. I think there will be different scores. 1. Wow. Jeez. I'm gonna go against the grain here then. I don't think that's okay. Ooh. Yeah, okay. All right. Are you guys all giving that the score of 1 for the medical Pisces because of right now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is so small. You can fit
fabulous.
it. You can fit it inside a Corsair. Like, that's how small it is. So you can basically turn any ship that has just enough space into a medical, have some sort of medical facilities for it.
Yeah, I think.
But even without the means, it's still a highly capable little ship. and it
Yeah.
works just so fabulously.
Yeah, I think
Yep.
my score drops it because I think down the line that's going to change. I think once the cargo comes in and you can't, you've got cargo like actual plates and stuff like that, you're not just going to be able to park any, that whole sits at fit thing. I think that's all gone out the window. And because of, the things like with the actual proper physics and all that, when that all comes in, I don't think that's going to be like now. Yeah, if I was scoring it right now, a 1, absolutely. But down the line, I think it's going to drop off, and probably even more than what I've knocked it down from.
I disagree with that. I think it'll always be sits fits just because CIG loves that.
We'll see.
So
we'll see. I hope you're kind of right in some regards, but you've got to look at it from a perspective of if it sits at fits, then that whole thing goes out the window for so many ships. So like the Liberator, where someone goes and takes a medium-sized ship and puts it on the the small pads and stuff like that. Like that's all going out the window. And
across the two.
Yeah, and I think that will go out the window because like I've seen people trying to take just to give an example, Vulcans on a Liberator is not going to be a thing. Like as soon as you go into atmosphere, because it's not connected to the plates, they're just going to fly off the top of the ship. And I think if they want it for gameplay reasons to work, they have to work to metrics. And if you look at the metrics, like as soon as you go into metrics, it just doesn't work. If that can be snapped to a cargo grid, the Pisces will be fine. But if you just put it in somewhere where there's no cargo grid, I expect it to move around inside the ship, just like they've talked about cargo in the past. So yeah.
Yep. I have a feeling that it fits at sits will be linked to the hangar type pads, and they'll say,
yeah,
a medium hangar, anything that's medium or smaller fits.
Yeah.
If it's larger, it doesn't fit. So they'll kind of play that, but it'll be that.
Yeah, well, the ultimate version of that right now, Agrid, would be something like the Kraken, but you'd fully expect if you took like a Caterpillar on the deck on a Kraken into atmosphere, it would fly the fuck off. And that's my expectation. Just because of what they've said about cargo in the past as well. But again, it could go either way at the moment. So that's again why my score is a little bit hesitant to go lower.
But I do think the Pisces is probably the best starting ship in game at present. One of the best starting ships in game at present.
Yeah, I'd give you that.
Yeah.
I'll give you that. All right, we're flipping over to the big ships now. We're under the big boys. First one off the rank is the Reliant. God, I had to think there for a second. Anyone want to talk about these specifically? Because I actually think there's 2 good variants. And I think as content creators, can we talk about the Mako real quick? The Mako's the yellow one.
Oh my god, yes.
Right?
Cool.
Wait.
Don't want to do that.
And Badger's deleting it. Right. Okay.
Yes.
The Mako doesn't. Mako.
Goodbye.
Because I personally would have preferred something like a camera mount that you can put on almost any utility mount, and then you could have just done it on any ship. I think making a ship kind of for content creators is a bit weird. And then they try to put on a ship and make this ship a thing, because this ship has got some really weird things. But that's my 2 cents on it. Yeah, I think the top version is the we'll make the top version the Sen. The second one's the Core, and the bottom one can be the Tanner. So yeah.
The Sen is the science one, isn't it?
Yeah, I think I'm going to be honest with you. I think the science one is where it's at personally, but you guys can tell me different. I'll let you guys do your score. I'll go over here. Right. We might have to make our brushes a little thinner at some point.
I'll make them a little thinner right now. So
yeah.
to 5.
Yeah. And the Tanner's probably. Yeah, so only science ship that we've got besides the Endeavour. I think it'll be really interesting down the road. That's why I gave it a 1. I just think science is really a really untapped profession. The Core and the Core, there's just so many better cargo options. The Mako, I just don't think is the thing, and the Tanner, while it's interesting, just I could probably drop the Tanner to a 3 actually. I think that
to steal a Zoomer term, the Core is mid.
Yeah.
It is the epitome of mid.
Yeah.
It's not great. It's not bad. It's not great. So it kind of sits in this position of why do you exist?
3.6 Runken. Not great, not terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, guys, we're going to run out of space when it comes over to the defenders and stuff. So if you can drop your punt brushes down by another half, so down to 5 points. Sorry, on the fly, moving. Cartual. Man, I really loved this ship back in the day. It was fucking awesome. And when they removed the second seat, that's why they lost me. So that's my rant on it. Anyone else want to speak on it?
Which is why they made the Reliant with 2 seats and try to mollify people and say it and use that as a reason why it was more expensive and yada yada.
So Loken, why did you give it a 4? You seem to be.
I just think the Cartwell at the moment it's a proof of concept for an idea of a design language and just left by the wayside. And it as a actual ship, it's very, very, very fragile, and it's very, very, very doesn't do anything particularly interestingly well. Like, it's a very cool animation, and that's about it. So I'm really hoping it gets improved. But right now, as it stands, it's a 4 for me.
All right, based on that, what's your initial thoughts with the Sansokyo coming most likely in Invictus? So is that is that a step up for you?
I think it's going to be an improvement and a step up for sure. I mean, I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do with it. You know, I really want to see what makes these ships special other than the fancy, extremely elaborate wing opening and closing sequence.
Yeah, I do agree with you, though, on the whole concept thing. Like, it got left, what had size 2 guns for ages until they upped them to 4s or whatever. So, yeah, I do agree with you on that. It did get left, by the way, I said a bit. Buccaneer.
I do expect that the Santoku and the Cartwell, their way of flying is going to make them really unique and really useful for that 6 degree of operation. So I think
that's
find them really good.
Sideways flying, compared to everything else. So they
if it's the way their engines work.
Yeah, if they can nail it, because the whole concept is that they don't have maneuvering thrusters. Their thrusters are maneuvering thrusters.
Yeah.
So
if they nail that, it's going to be really good.
Yeah.
Wait, Agri, just score on the Buccaneer.
Buccaneer, it's actually a 2. It's actually a really nice fighter.
I think it's just a bit too much of a glass cannon for me. That's why it drops a score. Anyone else want to talk about the Buccaneer? It is a weird one, and I think the reason why I've got a bit of hate for it is how they changed it so much, put the gun back on top. I always liked it how the gun was underneath, and that's what I brought it for. And then they changed, much like the Herald. When they change anything after you've purchased, you're going to lose people. So yeah. Anyone else want to speak on it?
It's a good fighter. So one of the better light fighters. It just requires a lot of skill.
Yeah.
Like if you're not really good at it, you're just going to die a lot.
I gave it a 2 because it's Drake, by the way. Just
yes.
I was doing Arena Commander and just trying to improve. You know, get a feel of fighters.
Like one of those. Are you like one of those
fighters I tried?
Are you?
What? Go on.
You're like one of those people that reviewed Hogwarts Legacy and took points off for political reasons. That's just weird to me. It's same thing with the manufacturers. Like I judge it on what it is, not by who made it. But I guess everyone does their own thing.
I tried most of the fighters in Arena Commander because I was just on a bent, and most of the fighters felt slow and sluggish, and that felt like the way you'd expect a fighter to feel.
All right.
So for me, it felt like it.
The Arrow, guys, what do you think of the Arrow? Yeah, I think this would be almost universal here. I could be wrong.
Almost. I saw what Badgers was doing.
Yeah. He was waiting for everyone else, and then all right, Badgers, tell us why it's so bad.
It's not so bad. It's just another light fighter. It's another light fighter. There are a whole bunch of them. There are reasons to like them or not. But I think with light fighters, people will go, oh well, yeah, they're the ballistics, but you can change the weapons out.
Yeah. I think
there does come a point with light fighters you're like, it's a light fighter. Yeah. I don't know what else to add to this. I think there's a lot. We're still waiting for armor.
Yeah.
They still have a lot to do on the maneuvering. The Arrow is supposed to be exceptionally fast, exceptionally agile, even for a light fighter.
Yeah.
But when you do hit it, you cause some real damage.
So for me, the reason why it gets such a high score, everything you mentioned, but if you compare it to the Talon, it's almost exactly the same in weapons and a few other things, but it's just so much smaller. You're going to have so many more of them able to be fit on one aircraft. So that's why it gets a higher score for me. And that's why the Talon loses points, because it's basically the same, but just bigger. The Blade.
They wet their beds.
All right. Why'd you guys give it 2?
It's
Rule of
just
cool alien fighter. Sorry.
Yeah. It's just a Gladius.
Yeah.
It's just an alien Gladius.
Pretty much,
I
yeah.
mean,
And
A very successful fighter as a result.
yeah, and my score is literally the cost of it. It is almost
yeah, it's
three
too,
and a half-
too expensive.
2.5 times the price of the Gladius. Like, and it's the same thing.
And
It's stuff.
well, I actually think it's in lore. My understanding is it's worse than a Gladius.
Yeah.
So,
It's supposed to be slightly worse than the Gladius, but right now in game they just made it an alien Gladius. That's all it was.
just because of the way the lore progression went in terms of
But yeah.
Gladius trumps it.
Yeah. I just
it trumps.
I just can't get behind it based on its price. But yeah. I know maybe I'm a stickler for things like that. All right.
No, if the price was if we're going off of price, I would have said a 5.2. But if we're going off of performance in game, it's just 2 right now.
Yeah.
As Logan said, my opinions may change.
Yeah. I don't think I added the Centurion and the Blister and the Spartan and all that. So this, well, wait,
Up here.
there are 2 of them. Oh no, they're all 3 of them.
Yeah,
I just
there's
can't.
one here and there's 2 of them.
So the one at the bottom appears to be the Spartan, which is the APC. So
Yeah.
let's
So you
do
got
that.
Spartan, then Centurion, then
Yeah, so let's do all 3 of those. Well, actually, let's do the Hawk first. Or sorry, we'll do the Hawk first, and then we'll do 3 of those. Because then, oh wait, and no wait, oh fuck, I fucked up. No, stop. All right, let's do the Spartan. We'll do it in order. Fuck it, Spartan. On its own. For me, it's a 4. Right. Paul, why is it 5?
Because we already have an armored personnel carrier that can fit on almost anything. It's called the Ursa.
Yeah, that's it. That's it for me. Loken, why is it so much better than the Ursa?
It's more durable than an Ursa. It carries more people than an Ursa, and I just love the freaking fact that I love them. I gotta be honest with you. I like the chunky utilitarianism of them.
All right, he likes the thick girls. Yes, okay, good.
I like them
Likes them
thick.
thick.
Yeah.
It only takes 6 people, doesn't it?
It takes 8.
8,
Okay.
4 on
So
each side, plus the driver and the driver, so 9 total.
So the reason I probably need to go up a 2 as well, because the reason I gave it a 3 over an Ursa is it is the first armored personnel carrier we've got, which is specifically designed to be able to take people in heavy armor.
I'll allow you to change your number aggregate. You can get the eraser and delete it out and write it back.
Or just Alt Z. Or
Yeah, Alt Z, I think.
Control Z. Control Z.
Because it is because it literally was designed to be able to take warriors in their heavy armor. That's what the Ursa can't do. This goes up, but I still think the Ursa is, as Paul said, so much better.
All right, wait for the old man to put his number down, and then we will move on to the hull A. Yeah, someone was asking me yesterday, should they melt their hull A? And I think I kind of want to see it in game before I kind of make any more comments. But for me, you know, like, okay, I'm probably giving a little bit away here, but people talk about the Nomad being great. This is what you get if you're like a Nomad, right? Because it does a better cargo, and for me, the whole rock on the back just seems a bit gimmicky. But yeah, I just think the whole A is so much better. But yeah, I think I'll give it a 2. It's not quite perfect for me, but it's definitely up there. Anyone else want to talk to that, or move on to the?
It's pretty succinct.
Yeah, it's pretty succinct.
Yeah, it is the starter ship for haulers. So if you want to be a truck driver in space, the whole laser ship.
Yeah,
I'm straight.
The Hawk. Now this is a really weird one for me. And before anyone puts their number down, I want you to take this in consideration. The Hurricane costs twice the price out of game, yet in game it costs less than this. I think this is one of the most underpriced ships in the entire game. So yeah, I don't know if that'll affect you. I'm trying to sway. Yeah, that's me. Yeah. Yeah, I still think the ship itself was probably a bit average. But I don't know. Anyone else want to talk about it? I think it's one of those ships that will bear fruit once bounty hunting comes in.
Yeah, I think it's one of those ones that's just missing its gameplay right now, and it just feels odd at the moment as a result. Sort of just sitting there waiting.
Yeah, I agree with that. All right.
I think it's good for bounty hunting right now, which is what I gave it a 2. But I think it'll shine even more when bounty hunting comes in, because it's one of the few bounty hunting ships we have. So
yeah, I guess you can. It's a fighter that can carry 2 people in a really weird way. That's another way to look at it. But,
yeah.
If you've ever been on a warp journey from, say, Hurston to Crusader in the back of this thing, you've got to have balls of steel because it feels very claustrophobic. But yeah,
it's a stasis taxi.
Yeah, that's it. All right, Ballista.
I think that one's the other one. It's Centurion.
That's all right. They look the
No,
same.
Centurion's the top one because the white one's got the missiles on the side. So yeah, I think this is the.
Are you sure?
It doesn't matter. They are what we want them to be.
But yeah, as Paul said, they are what we want them to be. So yeah.
So small.
Yeah. Sorry. It would have been even worse. Can you imagine how small the small ones would have been if I had them on the screen as well?
Yeah.
So, yeah. You can see why I did 2 of them now. So yeah. Anyone want to talk to that one? I know if Space was here, he really liked it. Like we went out with Centurions and Ballistas and did one of the events, and it was all great why they had ammo, and once they ran out of ammo, I was the last one left in the Centurion, and it was not fun. But yeah, that's my biggest problem with them is they it's just the ammo. So once there's a ship that can resupply them, I think they'll go up in points for me. So yeah. Anyone else?
That's fair enough.
Yeah.
Mounting Centurions and Ballistas on 890 jump decks was always great for doing missions.
I'm gonna say there's nothing quite like being jumped down inside of a ballista when the ship flies over and they're so close they're not gonna be able to dodge, and you fire a missile, they don't even see you. The missile comes straight at them and they just explode instantly. There's some, you feel like a god in a ballista, but it requires such a specific moment that it's like not quite perfect. It's almost perfect.
Reminds me of what someone was saying there about like what Agri was saying about on the deck of the 890 is there's a great video by Jack Frags where he's in the Nova Tonk shooting things in space. He's just like literally flipping and shooting things as he flips. But anyway, the Centurion, for me, because it's lasers, it's able to stay around a bit longer, but then the counterpoint of that is it just doesn't fire as far. So the drawback for me was once everyone had died at that jump down I was talking about with Space, the arrow literally went directly above me because the Centurion can't shoot straight up, and then just shot me. So that's its weak point. Just go directly above it and it shit. So yeah.
Or outrange it because it's only size 3. So if you have a size 4, you can outrange it and just blow it apart before it even.
Yeah. So I think
you can't see it. You have to be able to see it. Is the issue. It's so far away.
So I'm hoping down the line, like you said, they allow you to have less guns but shoot further. And obviously you can look everywhere, not just have a blind spot above you, which is a bit silly. Let's be honest. In a turret, if you can't fire straight up, there's a bit of a weird issue. Aurora. Have we got 5 variants, or did I forget to put one in?
5. There should be 5.
Yeah, the last one's right down the bottom, but I'm not going to worry about going all the way down there. I'm probably going to score them all the same.
Probably the ES.
I'm probably going to give
them... The ES has to be worst. It's got less hard points.
Yeah. I'm just going to give the Aurora 2 overall. I think the bed, while it's sounds cool right now, the reason it loses a point is I think the range of these ships, it might not need the bed. So we'll see. Give it time. Anyone else want to? I just
they're decidedly okay ships.
Yeah, decidedly okay. That's a really good way to put it. Did you want to?
It's the best.
Sorry,
I was gonna say it's the best. It's the best starter. Other than the cutter, it's the best starter. Just in terms of what you bang for your buck. That's why I give it a 2.
Yep. That's kind of about where mine sits too. Badges, what's your thoughts on
it? Yes.
Right. Algrid, do you kind of agree with everyone else, or do you want
to? The ES, the essential version, is a 5.
Right.
Actually a 4. It's mainly because it's got less hard points than the others. The really nasty thing about the Aurora, it is a great starter ship, apart from its inability to really store the cargo at present.
Yeah.
If you pick up boxes.
Yeah.
But the really annoying thing is every model is slightly different. They have different hard points. So people say, oh, well, VAS has less gun hard points. But the MR, the LN, and the LX all have different missile hard points. And so they're all totally different ships. And the LN has the best missile hard point, plus it's got before laser hard points, and the same as everything else. So that gets a 2, the others get a 3, and the ES gets a 4. And the ES gets a 4.
All right, 100 series. I think the cargo's where it's at, unless you guys think different. But yeah, I'm kind of with Paul there. I'd have to agree. wait for
that price is just hard to get over.
Yeah, I think
Which
that's
one we're doing?
the 100 series right down the bottom on the right, our grid, as in next column at the bottom. Yeah, everyone's given it a 3, so that kind of tells you. And I don't know, is everyone kind of in agreement that it's the it's the price really?
Price.
Yeah.
If it was a little cheaper, it'd be so much easier of a sell.
Yeah, I think the Avenger is what really pushes it out. So I don't know if everyone's in agreement there, but we seem like there's not many we've all put the same number that isn't 1. So I think that's the first time I've seen us all do a number that's not 1 that's the same. So that kind of tells you what we all think of it. Not in the best place. Sorry, Piggles. It's like one of Piggles' favorite ships he owns, and
it's a beautiful ship. And if you want it for the looks alone, it's that no harm, no foul on the look.
Yeah.
It's just hard to overlook $60 for a ship that is effectively a worse Titan.
And for that $5, I think it's $5 or $10 more, you get the 300i. So
yeah,
I just don't understand why it's a thing. Like from a gameplay reason, it's a thing. But like the 300i, like where do you put the 200i when the 300? Do you know what I mean? Like there's nowhere for it to go at all. So it's just really strange. It's a really weird price point, and it feels like it's been put in for gameplay reasons, but the marketing team has obviously struggled with it. So yeah.
Well, it's also important to remember that the game will eventually cost $60. So I assume that when Star Citizen has a beta or release version, the Aurora, the 100i, the Cutter, the Mustang, all of the starter ships, except for maybe the Reliant, will probably come with the package with a game hit.
I've said to Agra before, it'll probably be some kind of screen. It's like pick your starter ship and you just pick one and go.
Yeah.
All right, the Terrapin. I want to ask real quick. Do you guys think they're going to make a bigger version of this ship at some point?
I hope so.
No,
and what
I
mean by it, like, imagine a bigger Pathfinder. Like most of the Pathfinders right now are fairly small, so I'm wondering if we'll see a bigger one. But yeah. I really kind of want to give it a 1, but I can't. But yeah, what's your score for, Paul? You just think it's middle of the road, so
it's mid. It's not a bad ship. Just a lot of its gameplay isn't there, and it would be one thing if there was a rescue variant, but there isn't.
I think we're
if there's a rescue variant, this would be it too.
Yeah, I think we're gonna get. I think we're gonna get that variant, but I also think the other reason for me it doesn't get a 1 really is the price. It is very expensive for what it is. Like the Corsair at concept costs less than this, which is kind of crazy to me. But yeah.
Yeah. The frustrating thing, as Paul said, and is that it doesn't have its gameplay. It was designed as a utility vehicle in law. The Marines like it, using it as their dropship. So it's crunchy, but they like it. It does have a rescue variant. It does have, but we don't see them.
Even had a troop transport variant type of thing too in law.
Yeah.
Well. Sorry, I'm just sitting there choking, muting myself. But yeah, the Eclipse. Yeah.
I was gonna say, I saw the one go down. I'm like, execute.
That was deliberate.
Who are you?
That was deliberate. That was deliberate. Trust me. I was like, yeah, how can I do this to make it painful? There we go. Yeah, for me, it just comes down to price. Like, it is just so expensive for what it is. But don't get me wrong, it is like I've got one at the moment. As I build one of my chains, exceptionally good in the game right now. But you can tell when the full game goes live, it's like a weekend ship. You'll only pull it out to do a very specific thing and then put it away. And it's just, there's just something that it just feels really overpriced. But yeah, I think that kind of speaks volume that we are all kind of around the mid-range, yeah. Strangely balanced. But Badgers, I'm the opposite of you, so in score, so
yeah,
why do you like
I think it's hard to have a conversation about killing big ships without mentioning either this or the Retaliator, which kind of de facto makes them both, if not top tier, then close to it. Yeah. I think there's just going to be some really fun gameplay with this thing where you come screaming in, you do it in decoupled mode, you shut everything down, and then rather than locking onto stuff, you just dumbfire at point blank range.
Yep.
And veer away again. And I think it's going to make, you get a couple of people who know what they're doing and who can coordinate, you know, a couple of eclipses are going to be absolutely deadly.
I'm just realizing we're more than halfway through the time we've got, and we haven't even got halfway through the ship. So I am going to have to, if I cut people off,
quick, faster.
I apologize.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, Gladius. Built for Squadron 42. I think it's probably should be up there, but not perfect. That seems to be roughly where we scored it. Anyone else want to speak to that?
Damn near the best light fighter out there. That's all. And for its price, it's amazing.
Yep.
100%. Cutter. The thoughts of badges does not reflect that of Infra. No.
I understand where Badger's coming from. Where are you coming from, Badgers? Because I'm gonna say something a little different, but
yeah, I like it. I think it's great. I think for the amount of money that you pay for it, the fact that it's got a fully modded interior, you can put a vehicle in there, you can do cargo, you can do all of these things, puts it in a really, really good place. Absolutely love it. But it's Drake.
I've actually changed my score, because the other thing I've got to remember is it was $45 and it's now like $65. So the price increase is actually dropped a point for me, because now the Avenger comes, like when the Avenger's only $5 more and you get the extra cargo, better guns. Yeah, I'll take the Avenger.
The difference is distance. It's probably going to beat it's probably going to beat the Avenger in distance, in quantum range. Because it just has that much fuel. And if you're a hauler, you want something that's internal, it's like the Hull A. This is the thing you get before the Hull A.
I forgot I have to change it to a 2 because it is Drake. That's the only reason.
I mean, I don't want to say that I'm a trendsetter, but you know.
For fuck's sake, you're not a trendsetter, right?
That's why you just copy me.
No, I thought of something else as I was talking, is why I changed. But yeah. Yeah.
Well, we'll let the comments decide.
Yep. I think the Mustang hasn't aged well. My biggest peeve with this thing is they reworked the whole thing to get rid of it landing on its wings, and then the very next ship from the same manufacturer had hover wings. So why did you bother? But yeah. Alfred,
nice.
You just think they're crap across the board?
I've never liked them. I did like the hover, the landing wings, but the only one that could do cargo was the Mustang,
the default,
the original one.
Yep.
The default
Alpha.
Yeah, and all the others are just cut that out. And the only one that had a bed which enabled you to log out was the Gamma.
Beta.
Yeah. The Beta, sorry. And the only good one is the Omega, because it's the racer.
Jeez, Paul.
Or was the racer, and yeah.
Why did you give the Beta, which I think is the better version of them, the worst score? Okay, I got to hear this.
It used to the Beta used to have the best interior of any ship in the game. You had a Netflix and chill couch.
Yeah.
You had it was a shaggin' wagon. It was a place you take your honey back when you want to, your man or your woman back when you want to have some fun, and you want to go see the stars. And then watch some like nice movie while you're doing that. And then they turn it into a freaking prison cell. It looks worse than a prison cell in there now.
Right.
That remodel did it so dirty. It's like I wouldn't spit in that thing. It's not even worth my bodily fluids. All right, that's what I'm gonna say.
Okay, and by the same count, you rated the Delta #1. With the manual fire rockets.
The Delta is entirely nostalgia. Nostalgia. I used to use the Delta all the time, and I still think it's a very good ship for its purpose. Its price is garbage, but if you want a nice ship that's disposable, that you can probably punch above your weight class way higher than you think you can, that's the Delta.
You've been spoken too much of old man Hurston's Evercrack. All right, moving on to the Avenger.
We don't smoke Evercrack, you drink it.
Yeah, I think this is really simply a 1. Yeah, you can disagree with me. The cows come home. This is the best starter in the game. Based on price for what you get is so good. It's not funny. You literally got what is it, a size 4 nose gun, size 3 nose gun, whatever. So it's really good. Really good guns for its size. It does 6 cargo. You can put a vehicle in the back of it. Yeah, you can't put a rock in the back, but you get bed, food quarters. It doesn't look terrible. There's some kind of nostalgic link to our time, as in the NASA shuttle look. I don't know. There's just a lot I like about it. Like, but yeah, I don't know. Badges, Paul, you both gave it a 2. So why does it come down for you?
Paul?
Okay.
Sorry, I'll
It's
throw you under
good.
the bus there, mate.
I'd say it's good, but the Titan I think is not as good within a world where the 315p exists because it can hold more cargo and is almost the same price.
Yep, and
like $5.
You could be totally right too once that tractor beam comes in. Yeah.
Yeah, not only just the tractor beam because it also holds 12 SCU, whereas the Titan only holds 6. It has a bed.
Man, I have to look that up. I thought it was only 8.
Yeah, it holds 12 SCU.
Yep. It does hold more.
Really? 12?
Yeah,
that seems really high.
I think the 300 base holds 8, but the 315p has an additional cargo bay to give it a little like an additional 4.
External one, doesn't it?
Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay. I'll have to look into that. It's been a while.
Yeah. It's I've been recommending it as a smuggling ship forever, as a starter smuggling ship forever, because it's fast and it's got a whole lot of cargo.
Yeah.
Right, the Gladiator. It's got feeling got an old nostalgia feel about it, but it seriously needs an overhaul. It is definitely showing its age right now. Badges, why is it bad military wise? Because you've given it a really shit score.
Yeah, no, I just think when you look at the Crusader bomber, the whatever one, it's just come out the A1. Everything else, I think it's just in a bit of a confused space right now. You know, and it needs a little bit of definition. I really like the concept of it. In reality, I just think it's in a bit of a tough spot.
Yeah. Paul and Algrid, you guys both gave it a 1. So, Paul, what would you give it a 1?
I think it's better than it is currently been given credit for. It's just the issues with it is that it's anemic for its role, but I also think that it's going to get an overhaul because it's a Squadron 42 ship.
Yeah.
I think it will have a glow up, and I think it's a fun ship to fly if you were looking for a 2-person fighter. I think it's one of those things where it's a fighter and a bomber. It is a fighter bomber, and it's the only fighter bomber we have in game. Yeah, it's weird because of things like we don't have bombs for the pylons. We don't have those pylons can't be used for multiple roles because once you can put rockets on it or bombs or torpedoes or whatever you need to, then suddenly that ship goes from being like to being like, oh, this thing is a can opener. It can open up anything.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But it has to be 100%. A fighter bomber. So
yes,
and you could also put cargo in the bomb bay. So
and also modularity when it comes out, because there are freaking mentions of a firefighting version of that thing. So it's like, all right, where are you gonna go with this CIG? All right,
we've got the Hornet. So I've probably got some of the wrong ones in here. So the bottom one's the Super Hornet, the middle one's the Ghost, and
that's the F7A.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. But I'm going to treat it.
Super Hornet.
It's the Super, but I'm treating it as the Super Hornet.
But you have the Super Hornet up above.
And the other, really? Oh shit! Yeah, we do too. Okay, yeah, fair enough. The one we don't have then is the Tracker. I've just noticed there's no Tracker.
Why would you say that's the Tracker down there?
That bottom one's the Tracker. But I'm pretty much going to give them all the same scores. So for me, they're a 3.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And I think until armor comes in, it's really this ship's not going to show, improve. So yeah, Loken, shit, Harsh Mistress, holy shit, what did she ever do to you, mate?
I just find the Hornet series have just fallen by the wayside, and they're just so underwhelming to use in the verse these days. Yeah. I need them to be improved, and hopefully they will be. Yeah. But right now, not where it's at.
Yeah, like that's pretty much echoes what I was saying. Yeah, 100%. All right, Harold. I think racing's weirdly where this thing's at the moment. I'm just gonna give it a 3 though. For me, I fell out of love with this ship when they removed the asymmetry. I actually owned one and then got rid of it. So yeah. Anyone want to speak to that, or is it pretty like move on?
I gave it a 2 because it's Drake, but it's great.
It's one of the only Inforunners we have in game, other than the
MSR.
The MSR, like explicitly Inforunner. So
I'm not.
It is the preeminent Acrux ship.
I think I didn't put in special ships, so there is no Raven. This is just the Saber. Again, I think I'll give it a 3. I think
To
a
be-
lot of these
To be fair,
fighters.
CIG also it's so special that no one else is gonna have it. So I don't think there's like a handful of people who own a Raven.
I think 50% of
But
people in
yeah,
this room
Raven
own a Raven.
is an info.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
an
it is.
Inforunner ship.
Yeah, it is too. Yeah, I kind of like what Loken said about the Hornet. It's the same thing with this ship. It's just been around and needs a bit of love. But yeah.
Yeah.
Paul, you seem to hate it. Why?
Because it's completely like pointless. It serves no purpose for what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to be a fighter, and it has 3 size 4 or 3 size 3 weapons mounts, and which are fixed. So it's like you can either do size 2s or size 3s. And it's like, well, the Freelancer has more firepower than this thing, and it's not even a combat ship. So like, why do you exist in a world where all the other ships in the universe have bigger guns? Even the Hornet has more gunpowder than the Saber does.
Wasn't it supposed to originally be the first kind of A10 type ship with its nose?
Kind of. I think it's supposed to be a stealth fighter as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it comes under the branch of stealth fighter, which
they said when it came out, they said the Hornet is a brawler and this is a ninja. That's what they said. But honestly, the Banner Defender has the same size gun points, and it has 2 people and it has 2 beds.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna get if you want a Saber, buy the Defender. It's just a better. Also, the Defender's longer range as well, so it just totally outclasses the Saber. Right, Santucky Eye should be getting this Invictus. Kind of keen to see it actually, because like what Loken said before, with the Cartual, we need a kind of update to the Zion shit. I think like most alien ships, it's for me the reason it drops is the price. But Paul's kind of questioning.
I don't know what it is.
Right.
I just don't know what it's designed for. Like, I know it's supposed to
be
be the
medium fighter from Zion.
I know, but it's like, look at the Hornet. We talked about how the Hornet needs love. Like, we're gonna introduce a ship in a class that has no purpose in the verse.
Yep.
I don't know. What are you? What do you do in my game?
Yeah.
That's my question.
So yeah, it could just come in and completely dominate that middle field. So yeah, we'll see. But yeah, I'm intrigued to see it though, because again, we don't have any Zion ships, so they're probably, well, we've got more Tavaran ships now than we have them, and Tavaran came in after all the others. So yeah, Scorpius. God, I'm going to be a harsh mistress on this one. Lost my mouse pointer for some reason.
Yeah, you have to, if you scroll off the screen, you lose it. So
yeah, I completely lost it though. Am I on the wrong layer? Maybe. I can't even draw. What the hell's going on? Select. All select. Deselect. I don't know what I've done here. All right, I think I was on the wrong layer. Maybe I've got it now. Nope. What the hell? Great.
Are you on Eraser?
No, I'm on.
Try clicking off the screen. Try clicking off the screen and click it back on.
Off the screen. Clicking back on.
Executes view doesn't count anymore. Righto. Let's move on.
Okay, I've got the right layer selected. It just won't let me draw for some reason. I don't know why.
Try tapping B.
Oh, I know what's wrong. It's
you're on black.
Yeah, it
changed
my color. That's what it was. Right. Okay. Sorry about all that. This is the weird part of the video. Right. There we go. So I'm giving it a 4. Because the Hurricanes exists. that's my reason. Loken, Paul, you obviously stream all the time. So what's so great about it over the Hurricane? I'll chuck that back at you. Loken?
So it's not that it's so great in comparison to the Hurricane. The Hurricane is a friggin-tastic ship, and also I think it just slightly outguns it, and so slightly outperforms it. But I still love Scorpius because it's just a gorgeous looking ship. It's one of the most advanced fighters we've got in terms of technology at CIG. So it showcases where they're currently at, and it flies beautifully. It just does, and you can still take a ton of punishment. So I just love the ship, and also it harkens back to the X-Wing design. And I'm sorry, you can get me in the nostalgia, and I will 100% hook, line, and sinker that shit.
So I don't know if you guys are aware, but it really looks like we're getting a variant of the Scorpius that'll be a QED EMP variant, and Yeah, and it looks like that's going to kind of crush the Mantis. And then from what we've seen in the files, it looks like there's an EMP up gun variant coming for Invictus. So yeah, they're going to replace the Mantis, and then they're going to bring out a new version of the Mantis. Anyway.
I'm not happy about it, I've got to be honest.
Yeah. All right, try and be small here when you type, guys, because these next couple of ones are going to be a bit squishy. Agron, I'm looking at you, because your text is so huge. But the Prospector, Agron, why so low? Everyone else is kind of...
Because it is a starter ship.
All right.
It mining, it does scale up with the others, so it's not totally useless. It is a nice ship, but...
Yeah, I think it's kind of a baseline, so I think its score will change based on what other starters do as they kind of come in. So with the Vulture coming in, it might change its score a bit there. But yeah, that's why I've given it a 2, because I don't think you can say it's perfect, but it is very good for what it does, because it's a jack of all trades but master of none.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's good. It's definitely good right now, right? But you know, when the Orion comes in, it's like never gonna be able to compete.
But I think it'll always be good for that prospecting, going out and searching. But then we get the Odyssey that can. I think it's going to do the same type of thing. So.
Yep.
So
yeah, next one. Banner Defender. As I said, basically get this if you're a fan of the Saber. But why do you hate it, Badges? A little bit.
I don't know what it is. I do not get on with that ship. I don't get on flying it. I don't get on looking at it. I don't get on walking around it.
Can I tell you what I think it might be for you? What you said before about the combat variant of the Orion ships. I think it's the same thing, because it looks so nice. It doesn't look combat-y enough. I think that might be what it is for you.
Yeah, possibly. I don't like the way the arms slide down and the gorilla thing. I'm just not a fan.
Did a crab like crawl into your bed at night? Is that the reason why?
I mean, I don't want to talk about.
That could also be an answer, because it looks like a giant crab. If I saw that coming out of the ocean at me, I also would be afraid of that thing for forever.
You're trying to subtly tell us, Badges, you've got crabs, but okay, yeah, sure.
I mean, see, the beauty of me making that joke is you didn't have to say that, but there we are. Oh dear.
All right.
Someone get me a new execute. This one's broken.
Yeah, I'm slowly dying over it. What is this? The standard Hornet? So yeah, again,
Super Hornet.
Oh, Super Hornet. I still think it's a. Oh God, I changed my color again. What is wrong with me?
that's just the Super Hornet.
When you cough.
7C.
Yeah.
I think it's
you're right clicking on the ship when you cough.
Yeah, I think that might be it. Anyway, so for me, it's just a 3. Much as the other ones. All right. I don't think we can fairly score this next one. You guys tell me if you think I'm wrong here.
That's why I'm confused.
Yeah, because it's the Lightning, the F8 Lightning.
The F8.
So I think I'm happy to put a question mark there, because it's just we don't know enough about it.
It's unlike the Cartu or the Centuk guy, which at least we have some kind of basis for. The F7, the F8 could be the best ship in the game or the worst ship in the game. Yep. It's it.
Now, before we score, Badges, you brought both or one of these? I think you brought the Shrike, at one point.
Sorry, I just thought it'd be funny to put a 1 on the thingy and then turn it into an exclamation mark. Rule of cool for the F8, by the way.
All right. Cool.
Yes, so I had the Talon Shrike. I love the idea of the bespoke missile launcher, and they are, quite frankly, some of the sexiest looking ships in the game.
Right.
Just that chromatic color, the way the wings fold out, the fact that it hunches when it lands like a bird will. I think, in terms of design, the Talon's a masterclass.
Right. I'm not a fan of cockatoos, so for me, again, if you want a disc, get an arrow. So I'm a bit opposed to, like, mine's the opposite of Badges, obviously. But that's the cool thing about this game, and I think we're going to look around this. There are going to be different looking, and I'm just talking looks here, that'll appeal to different people. So, Badges likes the cockatoo look. I prefer the small, elegant anvil look, but it doesn't matter.
Were you attacked by a cockatoo as a child? Because if
have you ever seen? Okay, I'm gonna tell you this right now. Look up magpie attack videos. Oh my god! you will
That's a
understand.
YouTube rabbit hole and a half,
Yeah,
isn't it?
I lived in Canberra, right, which is where they're notorious for, and I used to get attacked by them walking to school. It was so annoying. It was they are deadly.
With a face like yours, mate, I am surprised.
Yeah.
Plumber birds will work.
Yeah. All right.
I was expecting you to do the Disney princess walking through, just kind of singing, the landing on your shoulders and your hands. No?
No.
Okay, fair enough.
If you feed them, they may do that, but yeah, generally they're territorial and they'll dive bomb you.
Yeah, and if you have like a bike helmet, they'll actually bite you in the they'll constantly swoop and strike into the bike helmet. It's really scary.
My question to go back to the ships is, you really like the Shrike badges.
Mm-hmm.
Do you equally like the Mustang Delta? Because I actually think in lore, the Delta is actually modelled off the Shrike. And I think the Shrike is kind of, in design, is actually taking the Delta and giving it a Tavaran look.
No, in the same way that I really like the original of Sweet Child of Mine, but when that girl tried to cover it, it was crap. So I feel like it's the same here. Like, this is the masterpiece. Don't improve on it. You can't improve on perfection.
All right, I'm gonna
leave it alone.
I'm gonna have to get into driver mode here because we are not gonna get through these in the next half an hour. Nomad or the Showmad or the shit piece of crap. I don't know what else you'd call it. I hate this thing from a price perspective. I think there are much better ships. You can go to the Cutlass for a little bit more, or you can go for a little bit less. You can go down to the Avenger. So you've also got the Hull A that's roughly around the same price. So there's just 3 other ships that just completely tread on the ship for me. I could hear John Citizen in the back of my head. This is a great ship earning game though. Right? Because it is kind of like the amalgamation of all 3 of those. But from a dollar perspective, it is not a good purchase for cash ship. But yeah, anyone else, Loken, Paul, is any, like I think fairly across the board there are lower numbers. I think we'd kind of agree.
Yeah. It's still a utilitarian ship for the most part, but I do echo and agree with what you said. Which is, there are the price point's a bit off, and there are better ships for the various different beats roles. So I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of it personally.
Right.
It's mid.
It's mid, yeah.
Yeah. So you'll have to do a little bit of play around here, but the 300i is 2 ships above, and then you got the other 300s. So yeah, I kind of agree with Paul though. The 315p is where it's at.
Not sure which is the 315p.
That's the one, that's the yellow one in the middle, top right below the
350R is the gold one at the bottom. But I think my scores will probably something like that, and that one
350R is crap. What about the 325A? Because
that's the red one.
There's better combat ships for get the Avenger. I think the 315p is kind of where it's at. I want to give it a 1. But the money thing in my head is because of Origin is saying I can't give it a 1.
It's $5 more expensive than the Titan. Like it's a better Titan. It just doesn't have as good of guns. Is the only issue.
I will revisit that, and maybe that's something me and you can do an episode on, because you're so in like changed my mind, or we'll do something like that.
Yeah.
And you can change my mind on it and just chuck all the stats at me, because that probably would be a good episode, especially with it starting to bear fruit with Tractor Beam. So yeah, we'll look at that for an episode. Look forward to that. I've just suckered you in, Paul. Suck shit. Meat bus. Yeah, but no, that would be a good episode though, and maybe we can suck one of the other boys in, like Loken or Badgers, and they can play counterpoint.
You're gonna do what? Sorry.
What's better, the
exactly what you think?
Yeah, the 315p or the Avenger. Anyway. Yeah. All right, the Ares. Jesus.
Oof. I'll say oof, mama. Oof.
Yeah, I kind of agree with Paul and Loken here. I'm gonna kind of go with Loken's scores, because Loken, is it because the armored one sounds cooler? Like why is it a 3?
Honestly, the one with the Gatling gun sounds cooler, and I think it's just more bloody useful right now in terms of the game. The Ion has been so badly managed with that gun and how they wanted to handle it right now. It's just underperforming and it's so underwhelming. But both of them are pretty Both pretty meh, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I think the Ion needs to go to, like, you know those guns where you like charge up a sniper rifle and then it fires, so it's like almost like a 5-second shot. That's what I think the Ion needs to become, and it's like a long-range capital ship killer. Where I think the Avenger is, the Inferno is the complete opposite, where it's right up in your face with the Gatling gun, and it's designed to rip armor off capital ships, so that, like, say even Auroras can come in now that your armor's been removed, and they can do damage. So it's an armor removal ship, is what I think that. I'm hoping that's how they've designed them. That's just completely speculatory by me, but that makes the most sense to me. But yeah, anyway. Badges. Did you kind of a little bit different than everyone else? So
yeah, I do like them. I think it's been an interesting, because before they came out and just as they came out, everyone was complaining about how OP they were going to be. That hasn't materialized. You know, I like the idea of these kind of one weapon soul ground attack. I mean, the Ares Inferno for me is just an A10 without missiles.
Yep.
Even if it's got missiles, it's without missiles. It's that gun. I think the Ion's in a bad place, but I would love to see it be able to hit stuff and stagger the crew, so you actually feel that impact.
That's an interesting.
It's not landing.
That's an interesting.
But yeah, you actually feel the impact across the ship.
That's an interesting concept. I think that would be rather cool, actually. Like, yeah, especially when we get the They did mention that as a thing, being able to knock people over. You know, what was that called? The knocking people thing, like where your character was leaning and stuff.
It's
force feedback.
No,
force feedback.
Yeah,
force feedback. I got it. All right, moving on. I have to speed this up. Sorry, because we're down to 21 minutes now. Well, we've probably got a bit longer, but yeah. Anyway, SRV.
Oh shit, we probably are a minute a ship.
Yep. So I'm gonna have to go quick. So apologies.
Yeah.
SRV, I think it's going to bear a lot of fruit. I think it's going to hit a lot of different categories. If you want to speak to a ship, just speak up. Otherwise, I'm going to speak and I'm going to move on. But if you,
it's the only tow ship we have, but it's because it's the only tow ship we have. It's a one-trick pony, so that's why I say it's mid.
I will chuck the Crucible back at you though, because that does have a tractor beam. So eventually that'll be a tow ship.
Yes.
Too. Mantis, I think this thing is kind of in a shit place, and it's about to get in a heaps worse place when that new one comes in from the Scorpius. Yeah, I kind of have to agree with that.
Hot take. It's the worst. It's the worst ship they've ever designed.
Visually speaking, it looks awesome, but I think that's the counterpoint. Yeah. Agrid, you there?
But it has no purpose.
Yep.
We'll get Agrid's score and then we'll move on. The Glaive. Yeah, I'm kind of with Loken as well. It's just overpriced garbage. Not even as good as the Super Hornet, quite frankly. They have upgunned it, so I think it will get a bit more powerful as time goes on. But yeah, anyone else speak to that?
Two for the Glaive, only because the first one that was made by Asperia was commissioned by a great uncle.
Yeah. Rarest ship in the game, $3,300 I saw one go for recently. Again, still not as powerful as I want it though. Yeah, let me guess. Has Paul just gone ahead and done it? Yeah, Paul, stop! He's gone on. He's just scoring everything. Stop it, Paul.
I stopped it.
Yeah, the Vulture. Tell me about the Vulture, Paul.
It's the intro salvage ship. It's great. It does everything you expect a salvage ship to do, including hull munch. I thought it didn't do hull munch, but it actually does. So that's why I say it's and it only requires one person. So whereas like the you cannot do Reclaimer cannot do a single person. You have to have multiple people with a Reclaimer. There is no option for soloing a Reclaimer, unlike say like a Mole. So
Paul went ahead. Algrid, not enough time. Sorry. Paul went ahead and I skipped the Legionnaire. So Algrid, tell me about the Legionnaire.
I don't want to talk about the Legionnaire. I want to talk about the Vulture because it's a one-player ship. But as you've seen from gameplay, you actually really do need two people because you've got to continually get out of your seat to change for the cargo.
All right, the Expanse. It's a refinery ship. The Galaxy came in.
Yes,
it refines as well. We're kind of waiting for the gameplay.
It's a good starter, but you know.
Yep. Okay. Talon, it's kind of really overpriced. It's the most expensive dropshipping game.
Prowler. You said Talon. Prowler.
Yeah. You get what I mean. Prowler. Sorry, but I just think there's better dropships at the price. Like for example, the Cutlass can be a dropship, and it's $100. This is 400 and something. So yeah, and every dropship is good, but just so overpriced.
Got a high price.
Yeah, we can do the
high point.
we can do the whole Cutlass series here. I think that's definitely a 1 for me. I'm gonna go like that. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Anyone else? Badges? 6. Oh jeez. Right, badges. What's
Like the Cuddy Black, I think it's really versatile. Cuddy Red, I think it's in a bad place. It needs something else to augment it because why would you take it when you've got a Pisces?
The top one's the steel.
Oh, no. The top one's the blue. The steel is
the blue.
Oh shit! Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. 6.
Yeah.
100%.
So the steel is a pile of crap. Don't want to demonetize us. And the blue again, like it, and I think it's got because you've got that extra crewman, the turret, and the other versatility. I think it holds its own, given the fact we're going to have a Scorpius with the QED.
Yep. Right, new score is 666. There we go. Right.
Listen, I'm just gonna say my score is a 1, and I'm gonna argue 2 seconds. It's absolutely got dog shit. Its price is way overpriced, but it's cool as shit. So that's the reason why I'm labeling it as a 1. That's all.
Right. Those be fighting words, punk. Right.
I love the fact that you've just had your score changed to a 6, Paul. So yeah,
that wasn't me. I didn't. Who did that?
No.
Oh, you changed it. Oh, right, you changed your score. Right. Yeah, okay, that's a bit rude. Yeah. I'm kind of with Agron on that one. Actually, I'm going to make it a 3 across the board. Because it just is aged badly. 4 people when really it's a 2-piece ship. The only version that really needs more than 2 is the Miss because of the missile launcher. I think we could all agree that this is going to get a rework at some point, and hopefully
internal at least.
You know, it has to if it's even going to remotely compete with the Cutlass and the Spirit. But yeah, the Dur for me was one I owned for a really long time, and you know, for the longest time, it was the only ship, or the largest ship that could go through small jump points. So that's why I was a big fan of the Dur. It had this unique exploring area. But now I think more ships have come along, like the Terrapin and stuff like that, that'll eat into that quite a bit. But anything else there anyone wants to say, or we'll move on? It's pretty close across the board, 2s and 3s. So yeah, I think we're all kind of right. Yeah, man, you guys have been really nice, but I'm actually going to give them 4s. I think this ship is in a really shit place. I hate the nose guns. I just think they've... Sorry, Mr. Roberts, but I feel like you have tried to make the nose guns a thing.
Which one's which?
Does it matter? Not to me. They're all 4s.
Bottom one normal,
Well,
next one's the Sentinel, third one up is the Hoplite, and the fourth one up is the other one.
The
other
Warden.
one.
The Warden. Yeah.
The Warden. Okay,
Yeah.
Warden's a 4. Sentinel, that's a 3 because it's a dropship that fits in a javelin. The torpedo ship's a 4, and the E-Warware 4-wheel one is a 3.
The only thing I think it's really got left going
that's
for it
good.
is the redundancy. It has a lot of redundancy for a ship of its size.
And it is a long-range fighter.
Yeah, if they just changed the nose guns to be normal guns, I think it would fix almost every single issue. And the turret is really lackluster because it's got size 2s on it, and the pilot's like swinging a size 5 gun, so you just feel like you're just not doing anything. But yeah, I don't know. Anyone else want to speak to that one? Badges, you've kind of got.
I just
Good.
Sorry. Just that the Sentinel, I think it's the Sentinel and the E-Warfare fit that really makes it for me. But there you go.
Yeah, stop going ahead, please. God damn it.
We're just trying to speed up a little bit. This one.
Yeah, I know, but you're making me lose track of where I'm at, and I like the I like if you put scores down, it affects other people's scores. So try to do it at the same time. It's just something I learned when I've done this before. All right, the Vulcan. I do think Badges changed my perspective on the ship quite a lot. So Badges, what's the love about the Vulcan?
I tell you what, I've got a CCU chain to Vulcan, ready to go.
Yeah.
I just, for the fact that it's small, you potentially got multiple operations at once because of the drones.
Yep.
You know, and it's if you look at the other ships capable of doing what it does at the moment, you're having to go up considerably in size and crew complement. So for a small group, this is going to be really, really good.
Yep. Raft.
It's a portable. It's a portable
Sky crane.
Skytrain, yeah.
Yeah.
It's perfect for it's going to shine in pyro.
Yep,
And,
100%. Another one of those ships that have yet to bear fruit. So yeah,
it's okay. It's good now. It's good for what it does, and its price isn't terrible. But like, it's going to only go up in value in terms of like its gameplay possibilities. So
yep. All right, the Apollo, not out yet. It heals things. I think that kind of covers it.
It is the only one it's the smallest thing that has a class 1, so or tier 1 bid. So.
Yep. So yeah, not much else to add there. It's pretty. The Mole. God, this is in a shit place at the moment, isn't it? I think again, like it needs bigger rocks. Like I said earlier when we were talking about the Prospector. I'll just play ball here with everyone else. Yeah, 3.
Doesn't have the stones.
I was going to give it a 4, but we'll just give it
Rude.
a 3, so we all agree. The Valkyrie. Oh shit, this isn't a bad. Okay, I don't like this one at the moment either. It feels like it was invented for the Cyclone, and I was watching Expat Brat, and she made this comment, right, and I 100% agree with her. How does Anvil have the Atlas platform, and the Valkyrie doesn't carry it? And I think that kind of sums up like it needs to at least be able to carry one Atlas platform.
That's a good point. Yeah, no, I'd agree with that.
The whole there's no airlocks in it at all. Like there are literally beds that are open to space if you open one door, which is really weird. So again, this is one of those ships that they've made it for gameplay reasons, but they haven't had a military advisor look at it, and it shows that it's made by a civilian, not by a military person. So yeah,
or anyone that's reliant on oxygen.
All right,
all
right, Loken, beat me over the head. What?
Oh no, I'm not going to be over that, mate. At the end of the day, you've pointed out 2 of the glaring flaws in the platform, and I agree with you 100%. It needs a rework. That crew area needs to be airtight, and it needs to be able to carry its own damn APC. But what it is still a very capable, very stable, and a very durable platform to deliver 20 troops and out of battle, and absolutely provide ground support as well. And I cannot floor its capabilities.
I think the only all that I agree with. The only thing else I'd add is that weird turret on the bottom that somehow pushes into the ground when it lands. Other than that, that's the only other weird thing I think I could pick up on it. But yeah, no, agreed with you wholeheartedly. All right, Spirit. We've got 3 versions here. We'll make the one on the second page the executive. So A1, C1, and the next one is E1. That's not a goddamn phone! Right, man,
rude.
Keep clicking on the damn color somehow and changing it. What the hell is wrong with me? Right, no, I'm gonna break the mold.
Question.
I really, 3. There we go. I think the C1 is where it's at personally, and yeah, this thing is just, I think, is a waste of time. I'm gonna give that a 4.
Probably should give the bomber a 5, but you know.
Yeah. I think the bomber is the second. So I've kind of done it in that order. So the C1 is the kind of better one, then the bomber, and then the E1. But again, it's going to be the gameplay that appeals to you. I think that kind of dictates the score with this one. It's much like the Hercules series. But yeah, you guys tell me. Anyone want to speak to those? Anyone that's spirited about the Spirit?
I probably reverse you. You give the executive version a higher score than the bomber. I'd flip them, but
no. I gave the executive. So the executive's on the second page, Hagrid.
Yep.
Yep.
I gave it a 4.
Yeah, I gave it a 4 as well.
Oh, okay. So we're probably the same then.
I do want to hear Loken's why he thinks it's the executive is a 1.
I think it's a 1 because it's one of the few private jets out there, and it's going to be an interesting part of the transport gameplay loop that's going to come in, and sort of like I think it's indicative of a ship that's going to come into its own later on when more civilian style gameplay loops come in, and I think it looks beautiful.
Yeah, so as I said, it's going to be the gameplay that you obviously like that gameplay. So yeah, it's very very gameplay opinionated, especially when it comes into variants. So yeah, all right, whole B. Jesus, I'm gonna give the whole A. Yeah, I think
I'm giving it the same score. I think I gave the A, which was a 1.
Yeah,
I think
2. Bigger version of the A, kind of not as restricted as the A. It probably most likely will go to a medium-sized jump point when it's full, and then a small jump point when it's unfull. Where the A will be able to just go freely between both. So that's its drawback, and I think that's why it's there. So it has a player choice option, so you get lots more cargo, but you can't go back the same way that you came.
Just for those that don't speak Australian, is unfull the same as empty?
Yeah, empty is when it's got no cargo.
And,
Okay.
and I'm going to
As opposed to unfull.
That was Tasmanian, not Australian.
Oh,
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Roger.
Oh, that was young man Australian that lives in Tasmania. Okay, whatever. I'm not going to go there. Anyway, Redeemer, Paul's favorite chip. Paul, why is it a 1? And yeah, he's now going to give it a 5. Yeah, Paul, you have to give it a 1. By law, you have to give it a 1.
I gave it a frowny face. All right, that is my official rating. It is frowny face or no. That's the other official rating. It's just no.
Badges, can you suddenly change that to 1, please? For Paul. We've got to make that correction for the audience. You know, we can't have him like not liking his favorite chip. That's just wrong. Yeah, for me, it's really up there at the moment. Richie can go toe to toe with a Hammerhead. And I think, especially with the modularity, when we're seeing more modules, it's just going to go up. Like, yeah, I can't fault it. And I actually melted it and brought it back. So I've changed my tune on it quite a bit. So yeah. All right, the Corsair. I'm kind of with Agate on this. God damn it, I changed my color again. My color more times than I'm changing my underpants at the moment. Right.
That's not odd.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Go ahead. Tell me about the Corsair, Badges.
So I haven't actually had one around one yet.
Well, me and you'll have to go hang out then. For me, yeah. I'll just tell where I'm at then, right? So you've got the Connie, the MSR, and the Redeemer, and I think this falls between. I've got all 3 of the others, so I don't need this because this is the one you get that if you've got none, but already having the others. I don't need it, and because it's an Explorer, I've also got a Carrack, so I don't need it. And so for me, it's dropping off because I've got these other ships. It flies terribly right now. I'm sure that'll get fixed. And opposed to that, you go to Paul, and Paul's going to go, it's Drake. But why has it got such a good...
It's more than just that it's Drake. I like Drake too, but it is, for its size, it's smaller than a Carrack, but probably has almost the same range as it. It's got a lot of forward firepower that is controllable by the pilot, so makes it better than the Carrack, in my opinion. It still has better crew quarters than the Carrack does, which is strange. But then on top of that, it's got a lot of firepower that the crew can use, so it's got a lot of punch that if you want to be in combat. It is a good frontier explorer. So if somebody wants to go out in the middle of nowhere and stay there forever and do a bunch of different types of gameplay, it's just an upsized cutlass. That's all it is, which is perfect. Which is perfect for what you need.
Which makes all sense because it's very similar to the Redeemer, your favorite ship, and it's like crossing a Redeemer with a Connie. So yeah, no, I'm just thinking what you mean. Mainly because Redeemer's your favorite ship.
It would be if you couldn't figure out what you wanted to do and you wanted a larger ship that would instantly Corsair.
Yeah,
it's just the answer. It's like the Cutlass. It's like, well, I don't know what I want to do. Cutlass.
Yeah,
same thing.
I think the next ship, the Talon, is kind of a little bit opposite of the Corsair.
The Talon again. It's
Talon. Sorry, the Raelian.
Raelian.
Fuck, I'm mixing up my alien ships left, right, and center. But yeah,
all alien ships have been Talon. Every alien ship you've called the Talon. So all alien ships are
sorry, I'm doing multiple things in the background.
Really likes alien ship.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah. For me, this is like the Nomad of the bigger line. So it goes heavily into cargo. I think if they priced it any higher, it would have failed, right? Because you've got the Caterpillar there, you've got the Hercules series just around the corner, the Banner Merchantman was there back when they did this as well. But when it came out, the price really kind of surprised me at $220. I was genuinely surprised how cheap it was. I think I'm still going to have to give it a 3 because I think when it comes out, that's where it's going to drop. My biggest concern with it is the pods, because they are only a certain size. Like, for example, you cannot take one of the ones off the Raft or the whole series and just put it into one of these ships. That means it has to be unloaded and then reloaded onto this ship, which I think is just, maybe this is a standard size cargo container for the Cyan, and maybe that's a thing. Like when you're shipping between the Cyan and the humans, because they're physically smaller, they're physically smaller size cargo, but it's just going to be annoying as shit to deal with. And I don't think people have considered that, the people that have brought it. But the fact that we're all on 3s, is there any other reasons there why you guys put a 3, or?
It's mid.
Right.
Yeah, it's mid.
Yeah.
Why would you buy this over a whole B or a whole C? That's the question.
My question is a law one. If the Xeon bought the rights to build hull Cs because they want to build hull Cs because they do better, how's this better than a hull C in terms of the cargo capacity and all the rest of it? And to me, it seems like an older design from Xeon rather than them adopting the hull C and using it for transport.
Yeah. I think the answer there is the smuggling component. So this is the blockade runner where the hull C ain't going to be going anywhere fast. Right, the 400i. Gonna be honest, I brought one of these in game. It is a bit fun to fly around, but it's overpriced as shit. It suffers the same problem as the Terrapin. Like, it's just too expensive for what it is at its price point. Lots of cool components. It's definitely, you like it buying in game for me with almost all Origin ships. Arid, you get 5. What's
It is a great ship for flying away from enemy because of the way the turrets work. But it is an explorer. It is the worst explorer of the ships of its range, which is the Connie, the 400i, and the Corsair.
Yep.
It can only take a bike rather than a vehicle, so it's got to be below a Corsair as much as it. And
actually, it can take. I got to correct you. It can take a vehicle in the back, but then you lose all the cargo. So yeah.
So to me, it just doesn't match up. Yes, it's a nice luxury ship, but then if you want luxury, you may as well go a Phoenix because.
Loken, you gave it.
It's the same type of ship.
Loken,
I gave it a 1.
Yeah. What?
Yeah.
I'm starting to realize you like your bling bling, or I could be mistaken.
I know I do quite like civilian ships. And I do like the idea of there being ships for ultra luxury, and the Origin 400i is a ship for exploration for those of the ultra luxury lifestyle. It's to say I have the ship that has the premiere and everything, but if you think about it, you don't really go anywhere actually explore. You just show off to your friends and you drink champagne on somewhere that looks slightly, inhospitable. It's like a Range Rover, basically.
I think
not only that you actually have
very luxurious.
Yeah, not only that you actually have a crew that you pay to sail it there, and then you just go out and meet them, as opposed to having to do the hard work yourself, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yes, but the other thing as well is that it still flies beautifully, and it still is a fun ship to use.
I think the way they went really bold with it as well, with a really different look. They do that with a lot of yachts and stuff, and I think, it is luxury done right, in my book. So yeah. All right. The Connor series. Someone want to talk about that for me?
I'm going to dive in because I'm going to get the question anyway. Because I've got the one over the Connie Taurus. I think the Phoenix is in a bit of a rough place because the entranceway doesn't make sense. I think the Aquila's in a bit of a rough place because the exploration without a med bed and that sort of stuff. There's questions about supplies and vehicles and all that. Andromeda, fine. Look, the Taurus is just. When I got into the game, it's one of the first multi-crew ships that I saw, and from the moment I had a walk around the Connie, all the way back in whenever it was, very soon after it coming out, when only the Andromeda was available, I knew I was gonna spend a lot of money on this game.
Right.
I just love it, and I'm gonna keep the Taurus. I'm gonna have a Taurus in my fleet always. So.
I think those numbers are, other than your outlier of the Taurus, I think everyone else is pretty much on par. So I think we can move on. We'll make that a short and sweet one. Connie, look, I'll just say this, and I think everyone will agree with me. The Connie's going to bear fruit when they come back to rework on it because it's Chris Roberts' favorite ship. Bang, done. Moving on.
Yep.
Right, Retaliator. God, this needs a rework.
No, that's not fair. I'm going to do that instead.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Loken. Loken, tell me
It's a amazingly awesome ship. It's got a lot of capability of its anti-capital capabilities. I think it still does need a little bit of tweaking, but that's why it doesn't get a higher score than that. But I think it's very bloody close.
I know why Paul put a 1 on it, because it's also a secret smuggler ship. Is that right, Paul?
Yeah, it's a secret smuggler ship, but it's also a modular ship.
Yeah,
it's got great modularity. It's a secret gunship because it's got so many turrets on the thing.
I think that's why my score's probably dropped by 1 point. And Logan, I don't know if you're on the same page here, but for me, the reason it's dropped is it needs that rework to bring it up to standard. You know, got rid of all the size 2s, maybe drop the crew count a little bit.
Yes, I agree.
You got to remember, it was the first big ship that ever went in the game. So it is the oldest big ship in the game. And so it should show its age, and it does. But when they fix that, you know, like they've moved the door, it doesn't take 6 months to fix the door. So they're clearly doing some other stuff with it. And so when we see that come out, I think it'll go up to 1. I don't know about you.
I'm on the same page.
Yeah.
Same page.
It also became the ship that spawned the Hammerhead, because they said, what would happen if we took the Retaliator and turned it into a gunship?
Right.
I know we're trying to run on, but I've got to say this, because I just want to give the old boys amongst us a bit of a giggle. But ever since we watched that film, Forever Young, with Mel Gibson, where he gets frozen in time as a B-25 pilot, and then he flies with that kid in the actual B-25, and we all secretly wanted a friend who was frozen in time. That bomber is every kid's dream who's ever thought about being in a bomber with his mates, everyone manning the guns. It's that thing. It's so cool. Sorry, that's what's one.
It's all right.
Maybe simply up.
Genesis Starliner. Geez, Logan, I'm expecting a high score from you based on what you said about the E1, by the way. Yeah.
Yeah, and you're gonna absolutely get it. I'm looking forward to it. It's a 747 in space.
Yeah, just not my gameplay. Is my score, but I think when this is reconcepted, because honestly, like you guys, the lore guys will tell me this was the first Crusader ship, and it just doesn't look like the others. It's got a very big Fifth Element vibe for me, which I'm also drawn to, but just the gameplay detracts it for me. And the fact that it's $400, and I know I can hear Aga talking about how, you know, it comes fully out of the gate ready to go, but I don't think that's a reason to charge more money personally. But
the reason they gave, it's not a reason to charge more money for it.
Yeah, but that's the reason they gave. So yeah, Paul.
It's also modular.
Paul, it's modular. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, yep.
It's just a good ship. It is going to be a 747 space, as Logan said. It's if you want to be if you are a kind of person who enjoys flying, doing the Microsoft Flight Sim and doing those those flights of 747. That's what it is.
Jesus.
So
I thought it must be in close to the end. Nope. Right. We
There's
really
only
have
one answer allowed for this one. Sorry.
Yeah.
Only one answer.
we got about 25 minutes is what I can give us right now.
All right. Yeah.
We gotta be quick.
So just so people are watching, Paul's literally going straight from this into captain's table. So that's the limit. Right. Crucible, Cold of the Endeavor, Loken and Badgers. What's fucking wrong with you? No, just Loken. Loken.
No, I'm just waiting to see it in the flesh.
Yeah.
You know,
that's a fair score.
The only reason.
Yeah, that's a fair score. All right, cool. We'll move on. 600 series. I've got no fucking clue which one is which. I really don't care. For me, it's a 3. Rework will improve it, but again, it's just overpriced. Origin. Yep. Sorry, but yeah. Batches.
I'll give it a 3.
I think Paul and Loken are being a lot more generous than us.
And then we'll see it, but I'm sick of flying that thing and falling out of an elevator mid-quantum.
Yeah.
My origin score is dependent on it having its new rework and all the stuff we've seen on it. So, those interior reworks have really changed the ships, but right now, obviously in game, they're a bit meh.
Yeah, I'm actually thinking Paul's score, because I know he uses it as the Astro Pub, but I'm expecting now, Paul, when they bring out like a solo ship that has a shop in it, you'll just put a custom pub in it, and that'll be your thing.
Yep.
I am expecting an Origin shop ship, by the way, so I think that'll probably be the one that you'll move towards, but we'll see, given in time.
Yeah. Right. I will say the one thing it does have advantage of for its size, it has some pretty hefty guns, so it can defend itself pretty well too.
That is very true.
Old man Hurston keeps saying, but Paul, the bar's on the 890.
All right.
Sorry, No, Paulie.
Oh, Algrid. I have to move us on. We got to go. We don't have enough time.
Yeah,
sorry.
we're moving on.
Yeah, cool.
We're moving on. We're done.
Algrid, Hercules series. So C2, M2, and A2, please.
My opinion is they're all pretty good at what they do, except for the A2, which is the best at what it does.
Wow. I guess it's the only one that does what it does, but it's just so overpriced. It's disgusting, and its in-game price doesn't match its price. So yeah,
it's overpriced, but it's one thing. It's one of the few things that literally causes people to like lose a shit over. Like no one has lost their shit over the Aurora, but plenty of people have lost their shit over the A2. It's the most hated ship in game, and that's because it's good at what it does.
Yeah. Our thoughts and memories go out to Mr. Morphologist and all the shit.
Yes.
I just hate it as a ship to fly.
Yeah, I think the M2 is where it's at, though. That's the best unique one for that series. Anyway, all right, Perseus.
2 seconds before we start this discussion. I just feel we need. Okay, now you can discuss it.
What do we need 2 seconds for? What?
He was doing a sound play.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
he's playing. Victoria's
he's playing
terrible mobile phone music. But yeah, I think for me it's a 3 as well. I think this thing is just overpriced.
I think it is so good for what it's going to do. It is.
Yes, I agree.
It's a couple of your mates going out and just killing everything that moves. It is a beat stick. It is an absolute beat stick, and I love it.
We'll see when another tank comes out, because like if they have one come out that's around the same size as the Polaris, I think this is
but
we'll see.
But it's never going to be any cheaper. Like that's the price. If they come out with another one the same size, it's gonna be at the same price.
I don't know. You get for $75 more, you get so much. You get double the amount of ship in a Polaris. So yeah.
Yeah, but you also get a lot more crew requirement.
Yeah. All right, Starfarer. Just again, like the Retaliator, needs a bit of a rework. Does a lot of master of a lot of things. Everything from a support ship to refueler, refinery, gas hauler. It's just doing so many things. It's a flying Counter-Strike level. It just needs to tidy up.
Yes, it does.
It's good at everything it does. It's just confusing.
Right, Galaxy. I'm kind of at a 3 here. I don't know why it was so hyped. It's just another Caterpillar.
Modular.
And it's
a single modular over multiple modules. That's the main thing. It's a variant of a 600 versus a Cat, so it's kind of in between both of them.
Yeah.
Caterpillar.
It's cool. It'll be nice, but Caterpillar better.
So the Caterpillar for me gets a better score because of the command module.
I'm interested to know why Badgers thinks the Caterpillar was before, though.
Because I like it. He hates it.
No, well, I mean that's part of it, but I just don't think it's in a good place right now. With like how are we getting the cargo off? It doesn't seem like it's gonna be that quick to unload. Lots of uncertainty with where the modularity sits.
Actually, it's really good at unloading. It's got tractor beams on either side for loading and unloading.
The tractor,
none at the moment it doesn't.
Yeah, but they're there. You can walk up and see them on the ship. So it's got one on each side, one on the big wing and one on the command module. But yeah, it is going to be really quick for unloading, honestly. Yeah. Anyway. All right, Hammerhead. Jeez. If they ever make this thing so like you could take 2 size 5 guns, this thing would go up a lot in score for me. But at the moment,
I almost did what Loken did, and I know why he did that.
Oh, right. What's that?
What did I do?
Well, we both have a same community member who always is obsessed about it and doesn't shut the fuck up about this all the time.
Yeah,
you know exactly who I'm talking about, and I'm so tired of it. It's not that good of a ship. It's really mid at best, and it's just bad at worst.
I've got to be honest with you. It's awful, and the reason for it, and I'm going to give you 2 seconds, okay? It's got a stupid hole in the middle that's got no breaking point, and they've had the law argument to lure it away, but it's ridiculous. It's a massive frame that fundamentally is missing requirements for a ship that's this size, and it just gets mulched at the moment by fighters that it's supposed to defend against.
So I'll just add on to that, Loken. I think all the ships that are kind of built for Squadron 42 or something to do for Squadron 42 suffer for the same issue. Just like the Valkyrie, like it was built for Squadron 42. It's the same thing with this. The whole front end has those reinforced frames meant to be for some kind of ramming scene. And you can tell it's built for a cinematic because all the screenshots when it was in concept had people standing in the concept shots. There's no other ship that we've seen that have had people standing or people in the shots of the ship. And I mean, like in-game shots. We've seen concepts where they're drawn, but never in-game characters, like that were in the ship. And I'm like, what the hell? This is in-game, like, you know. So again, it's been built for the.
I hate to interrupt you there, but we've got to move on, otherwise we're not going to have the time.
Yep.
I'd finish, but okay. The ship.
Yeah, that's all right.
I preempted it. People are going to say it's a carrier, so if you're going to call it a carrier, it's a 5. It's useless.
Yep.
It's a terrible carrier. It's not a carrier. It's a ferry. It's what it is.
It's a carrier or a Higgins boat.
It needs to pick one. It's doing vehicles and ships. It's got to do one, not both. Anyway, moving on.
It can do both. But
it's what kills it though. Personally, because it's trying to do 2 roles at the same time.
It's a ferry.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yep. All right, Hull C, middle of the road, 3, most common ship in the entire game. Much like we said about the Raelian, it can't really do smuggling, so it's just this middle ground, and that's why it gets a 3 for me. I think we're kind of agreement there. The Nautilus.
Mm-hmm.
My thoughts on this have gone down in the last couple of days because I've kind of realized they're going to have to come out with a bigger mining ship, mine laying ship. So yeah, my thoughts have dropped on this in the last little while. Ooh, that's a weird 3.
It's mid to bad is what it is.
Yeah.
It's 3 because it's in the middle.
Yeah, that's it. And it can't destroy itself. You know, you look at ships, you should be able to take yourself out, and its mines can't take itself out. So it's kind of weird. Carrack, yeah, this is kind of. Yeah, I'm gonna like at the moment is definitely a 1.
I've got to give it a 1.
For price. For price, you got to give it a 1 because it's the best value ship dollar-wise in the entire game.
I will say 2 because it's still lacking significant functionality with its cargo bay.
Yep.
Yes. But it's still also, I give it a 2 because it gets the Ursa and the C8.
Yeah.
Funny looking 2. Right. Anyway, Odyssey. This is the one I'm thinking of switching my character to, believe it or not. Because I'm just more in the industry, and I think this will make more money than the Carrack. And I think the Carrack is one of the most common ships in game right now, especially on the high end. But yeah,
see Paul with the sneaky 3, making us think he was going 2, and then just at the last minute adding that bottom cowl.
The problem is that if you could refine everything with that refinery, it would be a 2 or a 1.
Yeah.
The fact that it's only a Quantanium refinery makes it completely useless for industry.
Yeah.
It just if they change it to just being a refinery, I would be like instantly it's a 1. It's the best for like the best competitor for the Carrack. But the fact that it's just like, oh no, you have to only refine Quantanium, which means you can't mine anything but Quantanium. So it's like, okay.
Right. This next ship, I'm not biased at all. So yeah. I can't even draw over your text. I'm on the bottom layer below you.
There you go. I think the colours are too similar, mate.
Yeah. I'm gonna be honest with you. Right now, it's a 2, but I think eventually, when it comes out, it'll be a 1. So yeah.
Nostromo vibes, heavy industrial, and just watching the landing gear compress when it lands.
Yeah.
Off.
I don't think any ship beats it on landing gear. That's for sure.
No.
Yeah.
Loken, why do you think it's mid?
I think it's mid only because of the fact right now it hasn't got its particular gameplay, which is not just to hull scrape, but to mulch things. And also, I find its corridor layout a little confusing right now. I honestly feel that the interior could use a slight adjustment. Not the look. I like it looking like Nostromo, but just the layout. That's all.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
Yeah, that
I can
makes
sell
sense.
that. I can sell that. Polaris. I think a lot of these ships today, I'm definitely scoring on the now. But man, I love the look of that engine room. in the recent ISC. Holy shit!
Yes,
The combat version of the
glorious.
Yeah, smallest capital ship in the game, probably the most common capital ship we'll see. You know, little mini base, cycle some ships through assault, but also packs his massive punch with these torpedoes. Like it's going to have a lot of what do you have it when you have a really big weapon? Military term, the
Alpha strike.
no, it's a deterrent. Deterrent.
Oh, it's a deterrent.
Yeah. That was the word I was trying to think of. But yeah. All right, the Pioneer, the base builder.
It's literally the only thing it does. That's what it does.
Yep. And it's the only one that does it currently. So, I mean, it can't be anything other than a 1, can it?
Yes, because it's so niche.
I'm taught between 2 and 3 because it's really expensive. You can't CCU into it. I think a lot of that's got to do with they don't know what it's going to be, right? So they're like, we need to limit the sales of this thing because if it goes to shit, we're going to be in real trouble. And I think that's why it's where it's at. It's the only ship under $1,000 you can't CCU to, and there's a reason for that. But yeah, it's really unique. I do like Consolidate Outland as a look. Much like I want answers on the modules of the Caterpillar, I want answers on how this thing's going to work. So yeah, that's my take on it. Anyone else? Or we move on, I guess.
I don't think it's going to be the only base building ship. They have talked about flat packs being a thing in the past, so I don't think it's the only one, and we don't know much about it, and it's very expensive for all the reasons you said.
Right, Cult of the Endeavor. Loken, where do you live and where do I send the bomb? No, no, go for it. Tell me what you don't like about it.
The score is based on the fact that right now I feel it's too conceptual, and I haven't got enough hard facts on the ship to truly like adore it and love it. Yeah. And as a result, my opinion of what it should do colors it. So at the moment, I have to give it a 3 because it's like, okay, well, I know roughly what it's supposed to do, but I need facts, you know?
Yeah. I think that's what you've said there is like Star Citizen as a whole, though. So you are right though. There is a real big faith to purchasing ships in this game, but just the sheer amount of gameplay promise for this thing with the price, and you know what your commitment is, Loken? It's a $10 CCU from a Starfarer Gemini to this. So for $10, no, it's 10. But for $10, would you buy a $10 CCU and sit on it, Loken? Just to
no part.
Yeah. So for
if I had a Starfarer Gemini,
yeah. Well, you don't need a Starfarer Gemini. That's the thing. Like at a sale, like you have that CCU from a Gemini to an Endeavor, and because the Gemini's in the game, it's not going to shift. So basically, if they bring this thing out and it jumps to $1,000 or whatever, you can then just get a Gemini and upgrade it to this. So it is only ever going to cost you $350. So there is no reason not to pick up that $10 CCU unless you
are currently being inducted into the cult. Loken, resist. Stand your ground, sir.
I do need to learn about the cult of CCU at some point.
Yeah. We'll score you.
Yeah. But seriously, I think basically what he's saying is that if you buy a $10 CCU, you lock it in at what is the price of a Gemini? $250 million?
$340.
It makes the Endeavor $350 on way go up in price.
Yeah, and it's 100% going to go up in price when it comes out. It's it's so big that it's going to have so much value to what it's going to do. You can pretty much do anything with it.
Look, it's not an eyewitness ship that came out at $350 and they've all gone up.
It's going to do one or two things. It's going to be great, or it's going to be an utter car crash.
Yeah.
Yes.
And for the sake of $10, having that gamble in case it's great. There's if you've got the cash to sit there, or even to sit it in your buybacks,
you've only got to see John Crew's eyes and know that when he finally takes me in real life, he's going to strangle the shit out of me.
Haunted.
Why did you do that?
Haunted.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Ain't no jump. I'm gonna go with Loken on this one. Yeah.
The reason for my 3 is because I like the idea again, but it is basically an oligarch super yacht, and the interior space wastage right now is astronomical. It's the biggest. It's got 600 lie syndrome, and I hope that they'll do a rework. And when they do, my score will change. But right now, that's where I'm at.
I'll piggyback on that, Logan, and I think you'll kind of agree with me. And the banner merchantman's a thing.
I mean, yeah.
We'll put it this way: if you take the VIP area, chop it out, take the shops, chop it out, the banner merchantman and the 8-no jump are the same ship. They have the same components. type thing, and-
I see your point.
So-
Yes.
So and there was actually a concept. We did a whole episode on it. There was actually a concept for the 890 jump where it had 3 shots in it. So we think they've taken that and made the Merchantman.
I see.
So it's essentially the same ship, but instead of making a variant, they split it in 2. Yeah. Right. Hull E. Oh god. Again, I'm gonna go middle of the road here. Hull. What's it a 5?
You are very rarely ever going to be able to fill a whole E entirely up with cargo.
Yeah, the whole
That's a whole D, boys.
the whole D and the E. Basically, the cargo
D,
costs
it's
more
whole
than the.
D.
The cargo costs more than the ship.
This is a ship that you get if you are part of an organization that is vast and has lots of support, because this thing is a giant flying target. So for me, I just can't suggest anyone buying it until they get it into game. Unlike the C, which I think is just a better option, it's still
It's a good middle of the road. Put it this way: if you're going to go to the D, why wouldn't you go to the E? That's kind of where my analogy goes. All right, Banner Merchman, easily a 1 for me.
Yes.
Badgers, come on, be a dick. He's going to be a dick now. I said that, but
contrarian.
Well, I mean, seeing as you fucking called me out on it, let's do it.
Yeah.
Look, I don't think anyone could have looked at that video that they showed where they were showing the interior and everything else, and correcting the very unfortunate angle that they took on the front of it, and see that and not go, that's stunning.
Yeah.
That's the ship. When I get someone new to Star Citizen, when they say, what's the most impressive ship you've got, that's the ship.
Yeah. And I think it made them go back and look at, like, I think that's why they're doing a rework on the 600i, because they brought this out and people were like, holy shit, that's luxury, you know, like it is essentially alien luxury. So yeah. All right, the Idris. This is the M, P, and K all in one. I know there are differences, but time poor.
There's not really. They're all like, the gun isn't that important. It's everything else about this ship is good. It's just so good.
Yeah, once you fly in front of it, I bet you'll have a different. Because man, I've seen it one shot some pretty big ships, but yeah.
But I mean, like, if you remove the front gun, it's not nearly the handicap. This thing has still got a blistering amount of firepower and launches fighters
and a crap ton of shields.
Yeah. And I think Agrid, you'd probably agree. Being made for Squadron 42, probably the most flushed out ship in the entire game because of that. Yeah.
Yep, and it's my original Star Trekking ship.
Yeah.
Paul,
what pile of NPCs and stay up forever.
Yeah. Paul, yours needs to have, your name for this needs to be an arrow pointing to the front, and then just Redeemer goes here.
That's just the name. That's the name. If I get an Idris, it's just going to be called The Redeemer Goes Here.
Pointy end goes at the Redeemer or something like that.
Yeah.
All right. I love a Kraken. I'm probably more I'm more towards the support area, and why I think one-on-one the Idris should totally decimate this ship. I think its strength is the other ships on it, not the Kraken itself. So
I'd agree with
that. And I'm a massive sucker for asymmetry, and this is just the pinnacle of that in my book.
Yes.
The fact that it can also hold like a large ship, like those pads are not separated for the medium one. It's almost certainly going to be able to carry like a Connie on top of that thing. You could put a Corsair, a Cutlass, and several Buccaneers on this thing, and it would become incredibly good. It's just so good.
Not to mention a pile of dragonflies in the Dragonfly Bay.
Yeah, I'm not sold on that yet. Apparently, you can have other bikes in there, but I'm not sold on the whole "we're going to swarm you with dragonflies" concept. I don't think that's going to be a thing somehow.
It gives you other uses to the ship. It's not just those ships; it's other stuff.
I don't know why I put the privateer in here as well, but the privateer's here as well. This is going to be for the cargo people. I think for me it loses a point just because of the cost. It's $350, but is it really worth $350 more?
I just think it's like a really unique idea. Being able to buy stuff on shops on a ship is not unique, but the way they've done that with the Kraken, I think it just shows that like not nice little niche and nuance.
Yeah,
that the ship design's going beyond the normal tropes of sci-fi and we're actually getting some really nice ideas. And the idea of using it as a mobile trading station is, great.
I think the other little tell here is also you can look at the the privateer with 3 shops and 1 private shop. So for the Bannermetchamen with 3, so the logical with the 2 ships below it will be a ship with 2 and a ship with 1. So you can also follow that chain of thought. And like I said, that's why I think Paul will end up having a ship with a bar in it. He might even have 2 bars, like 2 shops in it. I don't know. Maybe you can have like a tobacconist on one side, Paul, and a classy bar on the other. I don't know. Like
We're almost done. X. We're almost done.
What would you have as a
keep going.
Yeah, really quick. What would you have as a second shop? If you could have a second shop.
A head shop or a restaurant, one of the 2.
Oh, yeah, there you go. All right. You're Ryan. Yeah, 1 for me too.
1.
Do you like money?
Yes.
do you enjoy a giant laser? Do you want to be Dr. Evil? You know?
I think I'm going to call mine the Nutcracker, but yeah, I'm not too sure. But we'll see. All right.
I know I gave it a 5, but because it's big and it will need more crew, is by far the best mining ship, and it is RSI, and it probably should have a 1.
Yeah, 5 to 8.
I'm just concerned about the size of those bigger ships. And I got a bit. I think I saw the things, and I was thinking, it's an E, the whole E, and not a.
All right, so the whole E. For me, again, most of the whole series just falls for a 3 for me because they are the middle of the road. I think they deliberately designed that way. Paul, you gave it a 5. Is it just because it's the
same reason why I gave it 3? Because it's so big, it's such a big target unless you have massive amounts of support. But it's still soloable, technically. It's one of those ships that can be soloable. So it's just it has a false sense of security because I can make a ton of money. And all the pirates gotta be. It's like, yes, I can make a ton of money off of you too. So
I don't know about the rest of you, but I'm so confused. Algrid owns 3 of these, and he gave it a 5. Why, Algrid? I'm so confused.
Well, it comes down to what the role of a ship is, and the ship is a raid ship, like I think the Kraken and the Idris are.
Yeah.
And those raid ships mean you are needing an org, you are needing 20, 30 people to go with you.
Yeah.
It is a great ship. It is a fantastic ship for what it's designed for, but it is a raid ship. And if you think you're going to be flying one of these and one of those bigger ships around solo, you're an idiot.
I'm kind of like Badgers. I want to give it a 1, but the reason why I'm going to give it a 2 is I think there are going to be other bigger ships that come down the line that push it out of its space. You know what I mean? Like, much like you got the Idris and the Kraken, I Loken, you tell me, why is it a 2 for you?
I mean, it's a 2 for me because at the end of the day, you have to take into consideration the staffing requirements, the fuel requirements, the armament requirements. It's going to be astronomically expensive to run outside of an organization, which limits its use case. That's good because it's a really powerful ship, but it still doesn't stop the fact it's a freaking enormous destroyer with giant, massive guns all over it, and I love it because of it.
Yeah,
100%.
I think that kind of falls into that area though too. That we know the Bengal and Pegasus and other ships like that are in the game too, and they just go to another level again.
Exactly.
So when you look at it like that, like it can't, like, for me, I think the worst I could ever give it is a 4. I don't think I could give it a 5 because right now it's the only ship at that price point we can get it for. But as I've said, for me, it's so obvious there has to be other. Like, look at put it this way: the privateer is $2,000. This is $3,500. There is such a massive gap there. That's almost double, right?
Yes.
So there's got to be other ships that are going to fall in that window, and we just don't have them yet.
Yeah. Absolutely, and I'm not being funny when I put both 1 and 5. Like my inner naval officer's just going, I could have all the fun of what I had in my career without all the crap paperwork that went along with it. But the other part of this that really worries me is buying World of Warcraft does not make you a raid leader. And there are loads of people who would really struggle either through anxiety or lack of experience or not wanting to understand the game mechanics, unable to understand the game mechanics, who will just will suffer in a raid leader role and really not enjoy it. And I think that potentially there are people out there who will look at these ships and go, yeah, I really want that, and then just realize it's entirely untenable to do by themselves. You know, owning it's like who wants to own a javelin and then not be its captain?
Good point.
So, you know, I think they're gonna be amazing, and you know, I'm really looking forward to what people do with them. But yeah, it's gonna be a challenge to run these things. Like it's gonna come down a lot to people's ability, experience. Yeah, challenging gameplay.
All right.
And I agree with that assessment. It is a raid ship, and it's going to be challenging, but it is also an awesome shipping game.
Yeah, and you know, if it's 5 for you, mate, seeing as you've got 3, if you want to get rid of one of those burdens, I could be persuaded.
Yeah, I think we both can actually. So, you know, if you're thinking of offloading one, and just, you know.
Yeah. How good. Now, if you've got any sense, it's basically this is where you
make people
the ball queue and go, we're going to have tryouts.
Make people fight to the death for it, yeah. All right, so that's been our tier list show. Let us know in the comments below your own if you want to do that. This is just our opinions. Like, there's no right and wrong. This is just all how we feel in the moment. And if you go back and watch older ones, you can probably see our scores have wild differently, probably from year to year as well. So yeah.
Yes.
Again, our thoughts go out to Space Tomato. Hope you're doing well, buddy. Again, if you like this type of content, like, subscribe, ring that notification bell. Want to go the extra mile on Patreon? Thanks for all the Twitch, YouTube, all that type of stuff. There was something I was going to add, and I've just totally had a brain fart. Oh yeah, in the description below, you probably just saw that I saved both these images, so they will be in the description below if you want to kind of look at them on your own time. So I've just saved those, and they'll be there for prosperity. Is there anything anyone wants to add before Paul has to run out the door for Captain's Table?
Thank you for having me on. Appreciate it.
You're welcome on anytime, buddy. All right. With that then, he's been Algrid, he's been Loken Plays, Badgers with drinking problems, and Astropub, and I've been Execute, and we'll catch you all in the next one.
Okay.
Say goodbye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Fucking bastards every fucking time. Maturity of a fucking teenager. And you're meant to be a teacher. That's the worst part.